Are we live? Let me actually see. I think we might be live. Guys, I've never used this app before, so if we're live and we're definitely putting this in the. Oh yeah, we're actually live. We're actually live. Hey, pick up. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to Omar BYT. And yeah, guys. Somehow, some way, we have finally somehow made it live for some reason. I don't know what the hell is going on, guys, but don't ever tell me, guys, that I don't do anything for you guys, okay? Do not ever say that I don't go above and beyond to give you guys great content, okay, guys? Right? This you have no idea how hard it was for us to go live here, man. Every single StreamYard, Talk Studio, every single streaming app is not working right now. But we are finally here. Big up to every single one of you guys. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to Omar BYT. And guys, it's an absolute stinker. But look, True Ballers FC is officially back, guys. We were supposed to start about 45 minutes ago before everything just went down. I hope the rest of the panel should be here later on. My guy Prime, big up to Sarcasm City TV clips. I think that's Prime, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. Your Prime, if you are about, just you can just turn up, man. Because yeah, unfortunately, I didn't think I was gonna go live, but yeah, we are actually here. So True Ballers FC is officially back. The Premier League show, as always, guys. And listen, big up to my guy Mike's for being here, man. Big up to you, bro.
Hey man, it's good to be on here, man. Like, listen, you lot in the fucking crowd do not understand how difficult it is sometimes when you're just trying to open up a stream. Like with the
Nah, I'm telling you,
timings and
man.
when this stuff happens, man, to just like it's long. It's long. So it's good to be back on the channel. It's been a very long time for our recent standards. So it's good to be
Yeah.
back on this
No,
series back.
exactly. See, I was gonna bring True Ballers FC like for a long time, and we always used to talk about it. But unfortunately, all these guys have channels. All these guys have a lot of like stuff they gotta do. I also have a lot of stuff I gotta do. So most of the time, it's not easy as it looks, guys. And sometimes, we have to just improvise and try to see, work with what we have. So big up to every single one of you guys. But look, Mikes, obviously, we are back again with True Ballers FC. Before
Mhm.
we talk about any other news, I do want to start with West Ham first of all, right? Because I know you guys have not really been active yet in the transfer window, right?
Yeah,
However, the big news coming out of West Ham is that you guys have completed the signing of Jean-Claire Todibo, right? Now he's officially,
yeah,
because obviously, it's tied to us, right? Because we actually have like some of the portion of the money that you guys paid to Nice for his services. So we're gonna get like 20%. So I just want to ask you, right? How do you feel about just completing the signing, making the signing a permanent deal?
yeah. Obviously, it was an obligation. So like, there were still
Oh,
people that were worried about Tadibo leaving at West Ham because everyone's got PTSD from like previous times at West Ham where things have gone completely wrong due to certain transfers happening. But I'm really glad that he's like, well, that we've been able to keep that obligation. There's been no loopholes in that obligation where you can just bail out because it's been a horrible season, and it's not exactly the greatest of inductories of seasons for him to be at the club because he's been one of the few shining lights within the season. Him, Wan-Bissaka, and Bowen, etc.
mm,
Unfortunately, we're not going to build around the good players that we have. So it's going to have to be the people like him that are going to have to bail us out, unfortunately. But with the players that we have right now, he's one of the few that I'm actually happy with. So to be fair, as long as he stays fit, etc. Yeah. So
yeah.
it is what it is, but like I never had any worries about this obligation like not going through and stuff. But a lot of our fans, like
Mm.
every time there's like a rumor about Tadibo, people take it for gospel and think that he's leaving this summer, whatever. He literally can't leave. He literally can't leave this summer. So I don't know what people are worried about, to be honest. But I'm just glad he's a permanent player, as I always thought he would be. And
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully we build around him, but I just don't think we will. Don't think we will.
I mean, yeah, it's funny because I saw a video that you did earlier today. Sorry, a clip that you had on your channel today where you were calling out your club, right? And you
Mhm.
were talking about how you were very upset with kind of like the team that you guys have. Obviously, you guys do need a serious rebuild in this team, right? And you were talking into detail about some of the players that you guys need to sign, that you guys need a striker, you guys need some players in the attack, and also you've seen some players being linked out of the club like Kudus, right, who's I think been linked to Saudi, if I'm not mistaken. Is he being linked to
Yeah, been
Saudi?
linked with Saudi, Chelsea, Arsenal, Newcastle. It's been linked with a lot of teams.
No, 100%, 100%. Yeah, big up to yeah, Jonas. I'm not on StreamYard. StreamYard is not working. It's not working. I'm using another app. But yeah, big up to every single one of you guys. But yeah, I mean, look. So I'm gonna ask you this question. Like, what has been the talk in West Ham, right? What are the play? Who are the players that have been linked to your club? Honestly, like,
Um, the players that have been linked with our club is mainly it's been mainly like Petrovic from Chelsea. Uh, he's been linked as a goalkeeping option. The players that are mainly linked with us have already gone to their clubs. So like Joe Bellingham was linked to us for months, and then he went to Dortmund. Like James Trafford was linked to us, but we knew he was going to Newcastle a long time ago. Like we're missing out on targets very early. A lot of
mm,
them are championship players, but I don't mind that because there's a good market to go in when you're a Premier League club. Like just in general, no matter what level you are, you should be going into the championship market because there's a lot of talent that come out of there from the second league, like a lot of underrated talent. But whenever West Ham are like interested in a player, I don't really pay attention to it. There's a Saint Etienne striker we're linked with that apparently we're trying to make moves for and stuff, but I ain't seen nothing where we're actually serious about making it happen. But we've barely been linked to players now where the links are actually worth talking about. Like it's
mm,
mainly been a lot of like journalists just putting random stuff together because you can link with West Ham with anyone and people will believe it. Like so we the problem is we haven't put our foot on the pedal straight away when it comes to the transfer window, which is what we've needed to do because we need to literally
right.
address every single position that is on the pitch, very much, whether it's squad player or starter. We need to address it because that's how bad the squad is right now.
So basically, I mean, to be fair, the transfer window for the summer hasn't technically started yet. So there's still time for the club, to still go out and actually do what needs to be done. But I see where kind of you're coming from. So do you believe that you're more worried about the fact that the links that are worrying you, and also the fact that you guys need so many players replace, or basically players to come in the team? That's what worries you. Oh, big up to my guy Yasser, man. By the way, Yasser, if you want the link, I'll send it to you, man. Because yeah, it is what it is. Nothing is working. Anyways, but yeah. So does it really worry you coming into the new season? Because obviously you guys have this guy. What's the name of the guy? Potter, right? He's
Yeah,
obviously coming. Yeah, like you believe in the manager, but you don't think that the way that things are going right now, you're worried about the fact that they're not going to give him the players that he needs
yeah,
in next season, basically.
yeah. Because our owner's director of football, so he runs. But he like identifies targets via the agents he's already got connections with, which is what he used to do before he used to hire directors of football of old, which is kind of the problem in itself. And the fact that we're not linked with players, the fact that we're not in advanced talks with players, the fact that we're not trying to like put our foot on the gas pedal in terms of trying to get the targets we actually need. Whether
Mm.
the transfer window is closed and open again, you can still talk to players. Like you can still talk to players. You can actually still get signings done. You can get signings done when there isn't a transfer window. Teams have done that many times before.
No, of
We're
course,
not.
that's true.
We're not serious. We're not
Mm.
serious. Like there's so many easy deals that we could do, whether they're cheap or whether they're from teams that would love to come to West Ham just because of the team they're at that would work. Um, that would work at that current moment in time. Like, and that's what worries me. We've got so many positions to address. And let's hypothetically say we address every single position, they still
Right.
all need to settle in. So even then, it's like there is no possibility of West Ham doing well next season because this squad can't
Mm.
possibly play any form of brand of football. They're so incapable of just passing the ball to each other. Like it's genuinely an eyesore to watch. So with this manager that's very heavy influenced on being structured defensively, but also playing through the lines, that's not what these players can't do either of those things. Like these players don't know what balance is. It's very reliant on pass the ball to Burrow and then hopefully he scores and that's it. That's basically what we are right now.
I mean, you know what's funny? Because obviously you're looking at what's been happening in England, especially that you've seen the rise of so many clubs like the Nottingham Forests, right? The Bournemouths, the
Yeah.
the Aston Villas, right? Like this is kind of, I guess, where your club was aspiring to get to, right? Let's be honest, right? The whole idea of why you guys were spending all that money to bring in players like a Kudus, like a Paqueta, all these guys, right? The idea was eventually you want to be able to challenge for Europe, not Champions League necessarily, but Europe,
Yeah.
right? Just be, be where Villa is, right? Just be in and around those areas, right? And for such a long time, and I said this to you like previously when we used to do True Ballers FC, right? You guys always had the right ideas. You would go and get the right players or the right players that could take you to where you guys need to go. The problem was always you didn't have the manager to be able to work with those stars. And that is why you guys always used to be in balance, because it was either a good manager and a terrible team or a terrible manager with a good team, right? And now you've stumbled into a manager who could work with what you guys have right now, and you guys are not giving him the tools that he needs. Like it makes no sense. Like it's insane. It's insane. But big up to every single one of you guys. Let me see. Yeah, big up to every one of you guys in the chat. We got 22. Make sure you guys smash the like button. Big up to my guy Neil. Says, does West Ham have the money though, or do they need to sell to buy? What are you saying to this, Mike?
So the club are peddling out that they need to sell to buy, but I don't actually think we need to sell to buy. This club has always been in a healthy enough position where we've managed to flip money and buy at the same time, which is why we've been able to spend every couple of years. Now, despite the fact that we spent last year, we spent the year before a little bit, we've got the 7th most healthy PSR in the league. So there isn't really much excuse, just in general, to not spend. And despite the fact that we haven't sold anyone yet. But I think that's why the club are trying to peddle out that they're selling Kudus to buy players. Well, I don't believe in all that, because I think there's a lot of cheap deals that you can get over the line where you can avoid punishment financially. So I don't think there's much of an excuse to not spend at this current moment in time. I just think it's a thing where the club are trying to bail themselves out an excuse in advancing a couple of months, so they don't spend, and then the fans can't get mad, even though the fans, they should know themselves. The fans aren't going to listen to them. The fans are going to get mad because we know what's going on by now. But that's what the club are peddling out, that we need to sell to buy, but I don't believe it.
No, I mean, that is 100% true, because let's be honest, for the last few years, you guys have not been afraid to spend money. So there's this idea that, all of a sudden now you guys need to sell to buy. I mean, look, that might be the case. I mean, I'm well aware, and I'm sure, like, if you look at the past few years, how you guys have been able to spend on money to bring in players like Paqueta, when these guys were being linked to like Manchester City and United and all these clubs, and you guys were still managed to get these players. It has to take a lot of money, right? Maybe not, as far as paying the clubs are concerned, but even for the players themselves, right?
Yep.
But for sure, I mean, look, I'll say this now, right? And this is the last thing I'm gonna say. You guys do not need to wake up. And I'll be honest, I 100% agree with you. Wait. Yeah, there we go. Big up to my guy Charlie, man. Hey, Charlie, we're here. We are finally here.
Yeah, look, I've never seen this. What's this? Rest streamer? I've never seen this before.
Yeah, this. I might actually start using this app regularly now.
It looks pretty cool, to be fair.
Yeah, and it's clean. So yeah, I'll probably start using this one. But yeah. Producer, you guys who are wondering, it's called Rest Stream. You guys see it right in the side of the corner right there. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, big up to my guy Charlie, No Filter FC. Make sure you guys go subscribe to his channel, Tottenham fan. Big up to my guy. But yeah, look, Mike's. Here's what the thing I'm trying to. What I was just saying was, you guys really need to wake up. And I sense and I understand your frustrations, because you're not really far off. If you look at teams like how Nottingham Forest have been able to rise in the past few years, it's like, why can't that be you? Because you guys have the team, you have the squad, you have the stadium. The whole idea of why you guys moved from Upton Park to the Olympic Stadium was, we want to be able to compete. We want to have a good stadium where we can actually be, when we're in Europe, we'll have one of the best stadiums in Europe. Like, teams will be looking forward to coming to West Ham, right? But your club always have the right ideas, and then they just, what the funny thing is with West Ham, from a guy watching from the outside looking in, right, Mike's, it's always like this. It's always like you guys are taking in the transfer window, you guys take 1, 2, 3 steps forward, and then you take a giant step backwards, whether it's either getting the wrong manager or just not getting the players in the right positions. You understand what I mean?
So, yeah, it's a case of more West Ham buy players and hire certain managers more because it's fashionable, not because they're actually going in a certain direction. And when they think they're going in a certain direction, they generally believe that the next piece that they already have at the club is the right piece, instead of actually going and finding something else like that other manager to complete that, or go and finding the next player to complete that final piece of the puzzle. They are more than happy just to stick with what they have, which is ridiculous in itself, which is not how you run a club.
Yes.
And I know our owners spend money, but they don't spend money when it comes to oh, we're going in a direction, we're going to spend it wisely. You just spend it for the sake of market opportunities. That's what they do. That's what they do in a general sense, which is why last year when we had a director of football, we had the wrong manager. And there was too much power in the manager side in the players he wanted, whereas all the director of football was doing was going to get the players done quicker because he was in charge of the deals rather than in charge of actually scouting the players as well. You should be given all the footballing decisions to the director of football rather than the manager, because every time we've given the power to the manager or our stupid owner is when we failed. Because if you look at Lopetegui's talent ID, look at David Moyes' talent ID, etc., it's been terrible. These managers don't know what they're doing. But the problem is these owners, they're the main problem. They're the main problem. They're the one running all of this. But we've been here before. Our fans are throwing coins at these owners, and they're still here. So what the hell are we meant to do now? What are we meant to do now? We're stuck. We're stuck.
Yeah. Hey, listen, Charlie. Obviously, you've seen West Ham recently signed John Clare Todibo. They've completed the obligation to bring him in. Obviously, Mike has been talking about the ambitions of this club, right? The lack thereof, right? Of the club's ambitions. From a person watching from the outside, what do you see with West Ham, and what do you think their biggest issue is when it comes to how they always approach the transfer window, right? Where sometimes they have a great transfer window, but they don't have the right manager, and sometimes they will stumble into the right manager and not actually back him in the way that he needs to be backed.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty interesting one with West Ham, because I think the window that they had last summer was, Mike, it reminded me of the window that you guys had. I think, was it in 2018? I think when Pellegrini was manager. Yeah, it reminded me of that window where you guys decided to go and buy all these players. Where in other windows you didn't do as much, spend as much money, because I know you've had problems with the owners and stuff. And it just feels like, look, the recruitment was a bit of a scattergun approach rather than looking at certain positions. I think you guys signed, was it about 3 midfielders or something, if I'm correct in saying that? It was a lot of just players, from it just didn't really fit in. I mean, someone like Soler, who was a good player at Valencia. I don't know what happened to him at PSG. Then you guys took him, and then it just, on paper it looked good. That was the thing. I remember saying at the time that on paper, you got Fulkrug coming in. You guys, Sullivan, is it? Somerville.
Yeah, Somerville.
Somerville. Yeah.
Yeah. So on paper, I was like, okay, yeah, Todibo being another one. I know we were linked with him before as well. So, but yeah, I don't know. Lopetegui obviously got sacked. Then Potter, I don't think that was the best option for you guys. So yeah, it's kind of a hard one. I think just again, when you buy all these players, you need to have the chemistry. You need to have the right coaching. The team, that's what they say. It's about the team. That's why PSG, for example, this year finally got it right. Whereas for years they had all the big names, didn't work. Yeah, I think it's from just looking from the outside. Obviously, Mike, you'll know more than I do. But yeah, it just looks like one of those situations where there's just no chemistry. There's no understanding between the players. And yeah, I think that maybe someone like Wan-Bissaka, I'm not sure that was a great signing. I know he was one of your better players this year, but yeah, it just looks like it was just a bit of a scattergun approach, not really too much chemistry between the players. So yeah, that's kind of how I see it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just a very heavy reliance on the right-hand side, right? I just can't remember the time, because Wan-Bissaka and Bowen have been our main shining lights, to be honest. Wan-Bissaka doesn't really make any mistakes. Bowen is the only one scoring goals. Todibo plays well when fit. And then everyone else is just cool, what are we going to see from you? Somerville's injured, Fulkrug's never fit. Emerson and Skulls are all right. They're good options at left back, but we have no midfield. We didn't play Soler enough. We didn't play him enough. He was quite harshly treated at this club, to be honest with you, with the amount of minutes he got compared to the players like Ward-Prowse and Edson Alvarez. There's so much lack of tenacity, lack of technical ability, lack of physicality within our midfield. Like, it's just the bare basics, which is why, like, every time we go into a game, we lose the midfield battle no matter who we come up against. Like, even like the Southamptons of this world, we drew to Southampton at home because we lost the midfield battle against
Jesus
them.
Christ.
Like, we had one of their former players in Ward-Prowse, and they had one of our former players in Flynn Downs, and we got schooled by one of our former players. And like, it's just so typical West Ham. It's so typical West Ham, which is why I don't have much hope for next season, no matter what we do in the transfer window. Because even if we go out and spend again, then we have a lot of players that need to settle in again, and it'll be another rebuild of a squad, and it'll be mediocre again. And then I'm gonna have to go for another season of just a bunch of nonsense once again.
Jeez. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That's actually very peak when you think about it. Like, because this club always try to, you know what's, this is where sometimes I do understand why some West Ham fans really lose it with their owners, because their owners like to do this whole ambitious talk, and then they never actually like back up their words. You feel me?
No,
it's funny as hell, man. I mean, it's not funny if you're a West Ham fan. I'll say that now. It's not funny, but yeah,
No.
to the outside, it's just ridiculous. Is that LB is asking, would you take James McAteer? Would you take him?
Yeah, I don't mind him. Yeah, we've been linked with him before. He'd be an upgrade of what we have. We don't really have anyone else there, so yeah, I'll take James McAtee any day.
Anyways, I mean, listen, I do want to quickly move on. I do want to actually talk about Liverpool now. Before I get into the Wirtz news, right? Did you guys see the Trent Alexander-Arnold? I'm sure you guys did. Did you guys see it? No,
the press conference.
The press conference. No,
Yeah.
I just have to say this now. This guy, this Scouser, right? He spoke like the most fluent Spanish I've ever heard. I just sat there when I first heard, because I was watching it live, right? He started speaking Spanish. I sat there and said, yeah. So since when have you actually been learning Spanish, huh? Because clearly you didn't learn Spanish the last 3 weeks. Like, bro, I'm not gonna lie. I can see why Liverpool fans are fuming, because it's clear that this guy, he already had his mind.
I never knew he spoke Spanish. Like,
no,
I never,
because that's what I'm saying.
Never.
See, this is, but this is the thing. He never alluded, like there was never any inkling that he could speak Spanish. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah,
That is what makes this so funny, because now Liverpool fans are looking at it and saying, oh, so you can actually speak Spanish this whole time, huh? So I guess this whole time your mind was actually at Madrid the whole time. Here was us thinking that you were gonna actually, maybe there was a chance of us keeping you. You were never planning on staying here. And look, what did you guys think when you guys saw that that press conference? I'll start with you, Max. What did you think about it?
I thought someone put a fake voiceover on that first when I first heard that, because it sounded like half Scouse, half Spanish. I was
the
like,
AI thing.
Yeah, I thought it was AI, bro.
Yeah.
I legit, like, I was like, I was just laughing because I was just like, hold on, this just doesn't sound right. It just doesn't sound right. Like, you're not meant to be try-harding first the time at Real Madrid, man. Even Bellingham and Bale weren't like this, man, when they went it over, man. Like, that's what I was thinking in my head, and I was just looking at the tweets, and like Liverpool fans are making Duolingo trend on Twitter. Like, like the amount of times I saw Duolingo, I went on Twitter to see if it was trending, and it actually was. Like, the amount of times it was talked about. Like, and someone said that Trent was pretending that he didn't know what Nunes and Luis Diaz were saying this whole time, just for him to go to Real Madrid.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, right? Imagine that, bro. Imagine if Nunes and Diaz never spoke to Trent, and then he starts speaking Spanish. I'm like, wait, so this guy this whole time understood what was saying. That was funny, man. That was so funny. I mean, dude, I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw it, obviously, for me as a Barca fan, I'm like, whatever. It's just another player that they just signed, right? But when I saw him speak Spanish, I said, yo, Liverpool fans are absolutely crashing out right now, because they're seeing this and they're like, oh. So this whole time, your mind was always at Madrid. This is here was us thinking that maybe this was a last minute thing. No, I'm telling you guys, the way he was speaking Spanish, he was fluent. Like, this guy wasn't even speaking crooked Spanish over there, bro. Like, it was not like you could say, oh, it was crooked Spanish. No, he had the Scots accent, but everything he said was accurate. That's how crazy it was. But listen, Charlie, what did you think about the press conference when you were watching it?
Yeah, look, like I said, no idea he spoke Spanish, wasn't expecting it. I think that with the Trent situation, right, I've always said it, that Real Madrid, whatever people think about them, they're a club you don't turn down. You don't turn when you're a player. Look, people say Trent, he loves Liverpool, he's like a Liverpool boy and stuff. Yeah, that's true. And he obviously loves the club, but Liverpool are a massive club, but we're talking about Real Madrid here. That is the number one club. Whatever people, that is the number one. So no matter where you're coming from, Madrid is always going to be a step up. And I think that's what people have to realize. And Trent, look, it's not like he's leaving them not having won anything. He's won everything with them. He's given them 2 league titles. He's contributed to all of the cups. UCL they've won, of course, against us. So, yeah, it was... I just... The kind of hate, I think, was harsh towards him. Like I said, he'd given everything for them. He'd been there, 20 years, if you're counting his academy days and stuff. So, look, I think... I wasn't surprised when Madrid come in. You know, it's very hard to say no. So, look, and he's achieved everything at Liverpool. So, I don't see the big fuss about it, to be honest, because... Look, every player would want to play for them. It doesn't matter who you are. So, yeah, look, I think that, like I said, press conference caught me off guard. That's for sure. But the move, look, I think Liverpool fans need to just kind of look. They have to look at the bigger picture with this, to be honest. So, yeah, look, it is annoying they're losing him for free. Look, they're still clearly being able to spend money with Wirtz and everything. So it hasn't really impacted them that much, but. Yeah, look, it's annoying that he ran down his
hurt. You can
look, it's annoying that he ran down his contract, but at the same time, it's Madrid. Like I always say this, you're not turning them down. You just don't. So that's kind of my take on it. Yeah.
You know what's funny, right? You know the best part about the press conference was the best part for me. It wasn't even anything that Trent said. It was what Perez said. Perez is such a that guy.
Man.
He's a slimy guy, man. He's so slimy.
Did you see what he said about Liverpool? He said,
"We have a lovely friendship or something." What was it? Something like that.
He said Liverpool. He said Liverpool. Us and Liverpool are friends. I'm like, yo, has this guy been on social media?
Omar,
this is like,
yes. No, I was just gonna say with Perez. I don't know if you guys knew, but. When Spurs sold them Modric and when we sold them Bale, they announced it was like an official statement and everything. They announced the 2 clubs will have a special relationship going forward, and we literally benefited 0 from it. It was such a con. Like what? I don't know if you guys knew that, but they did like a statement and everything. It was wild. Wild. Like
it's like if you want to like if you're playing football and you're just beating someone in a match, you go up to the opponent afterwards after you beat them 6-0 and you're just like, you know what, you did well, to be fair, you did well.
That is what I'm saying.
What the hell, man? You don't have to do that, man. Real Madrid bullied them in the champs as well. It makes it even worse. Like,
see, that is what I'm saying, bro. Because you know, the Liverpool fans have never liked Madrid, bro. They fucking hate them, even before this whole Trent thing. So when he said that, you know that you know what, this is how you know Perez, he knows what was going on social media. He knows how Liverpool fans feel about Real Madrid. You feel me, right? So he said this for the purpose of just pissing them off. You don't understand. This is Perez. Perez is a complete
gets under your skin. Under your skin always.
Oh yeah.
What's the worst part about that as well? Like, it's so funny because you can't have a good relationship with another team when you sign someone on a free, because you ain't got no talkings to do with the club. You're just approaching the player. He went on a free. It's a pre-contract. So what relationship did you even have with the team? That's the funniest part about that.
That is why that's why when he said it, it found it so funny, because I'm just like, yo, you are a dickhead, bro. You are absolutely. You didn't even need to say that, you know. You didn't even need to say that. You just said that just because you knew Liverpool fans would hear that and they would get more rattled. You feel me, right? Oh, yeah.
He knows what he's doing. He's not stupid. He knows what he's doing when he says that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, right. It is what it is. He even had the Spanish. Oh yeah, hey, listen. A Scouser with a Spanish lips, man. Talk to us, Trent. How did you even get the Spanish lips? Like, I'm just saying, you don't even like, even your English is like, every time I hear this brother speak Scouse English, I'm like, yo, I don't understand a word you're saying. and then you go to Spain and you even mastered the lips, man. Like that's how you know. That's dedication right there, man. He didn't just learn Spanish. No, he decided to have the accent as well. It's like, nah, I'm gonna hit them with the accent as well.
He pronounced the S's like the Spanish, bro. That's what he's doing, man. That's what he's doing. That's what the legit. Like, do you know what some people were saying though? People were saying that the Scousers were angry because they can't even speak English, so they're just angry that Trent can speak another language. So that's what they were saying.
Nah, man, it was funny as hell when I was watching that. I mean, listen, as a fan, like I said, it doesn't bother me. I've seen too many. This club signs too many superstars. It gets to a point when when you've seen so many superstars play for a team, you just think, just another one in the bar. I mean, they literally signed Mbappe last year. Come on, like they signed
On a free.
Mbappe on a free, bro. They signed Mbappe. They brought in players like Hazard, Cristiano, Kaká in my lifetime. Like, do you think I'm stressed about seeing Trent? Like, you know how many great players I've seen play for that club? And guess what? My club still managed to beat them in the league, so I'm not worried. At the end of the day, it is what it is. It's just another player they've just signed in my mind, right? If you've seen so many superstars, you just get used to it. But listen. Let's talk about some positive news when it comes to Liverpool, because they did bring in Florian Wirtz, right? Finally, like it's how been confirmed. Like the here we go from Fabricio is complete. 150. About is it 150
euros?
Euros, yeah.
150 euros for Florian Wirtz. Now, I'm gonna be honest. They did overspend. I think we can all agree on that, right? That's a ridiculous amount of money. However, I would say this about Liverpool, right? Yo, Liverpool are not playing. Liverpool are genuinely they're not playing around. Like the fact that this is the most active I've ever seen Liverpool on a real. Yo, big up to my God, big up Prime. But yeah, this is the most active I've ever seen Liverpool. Like Liverpool usually when they win trophies, that's when they actually don't do anything. Do you guys notice? Like they don't actually do what they need to do in the transfer window, maybe deal with the holes in the squad. But no, they came in. Trent Alexander-Arnold leaves. They already replaced him within like a minute before he even says his farewells. They've already replaced him, right? They've now brought in Florian Wirtz. They've already brought in a new goalkeeper, the Valencia goalkeeper. People forget last season for Maignan from Valencia, and they could be signing Milo Kirkesh. So they basically needed new fullbacks because Robertson is finished, right? They've already lost Trent, so there's Frimpong is there, and then they've just signed Florian Wirtz, who's one of the best young players, up-and-coming players in world football right now, right? Like, as Premier League fans, right? Do people like, I don't, like, obviously, no disrespect, right? But, to Mike's, but let me ask Prime, because I think, I don't know about you, Charlie. I'll get to you, Charlie, but I don't think you guys are. Do you think you're a threat to Liverpool? Should I put this statement to you as well? Like, are you guys really worried about Liverpool, how they're going in the transfer window? Like, how impressed have you guys been on objectively with how Liverpool have approached this transfer window so far?
I don't know what you're talking about, mate. We're a massive threat.
This is why I had to exclude you. I had to exclude you, man.
But Liverpool are doing really well, man, in the transfer window. They're learning from what their previous mistakes, like when they first retained the title and they just bought Thiago and that was it. Like, and then you saw what happened, but a lot of centre back injuries and all that. Then they bought Kabak and some random Phillips guy in January, and then they completely messed it up. I think as well the reason why they're spending so much, and they don't care why they're spending so much, because they never really overspent in previous seasons. But now they can't do the whole what they used to say to Man City about spending so much money on a single player and all that, what their fans always used to do with the way Man City used to move. Because Man City don't even really spend a lot on singular players like that, unless it was a Jack Grealish. It would just spend a lot in total on other players and stuff. Like, just in total, like with the amount of signings they actually made. Now that Liverpool have spent so much money on one signing, I'm pretty sure they can spend as much as they probably want to, because of the amount of times they've not signed someone in the previous seasons and stuff. So I think those are good signings. I think those are good signings. Gyokeres, Frimpong, Wirtz, etc. Obviously, Mamadashvili, from what I've seen, he looks good, but I've only seen like a couple games.
Bro, I disagree a little bit, bro. Did you see Valencia last season? I know you don't watch.
I haven't watched Valencia, to be fair. Like, I've just only watched.
Let me tell you something.
Sure, to be fair.
We played them. How many times? I think we played them like 3 times or 4 times, right? Wallahi, I think we beat them we scored like almost 20 goals against them in 4 games, you know. Let me actually.
Fuck, you know.
No, I'm being that serious. And you know what's funny, right? Some of those games, Mamadashvili, he was moving hella sus. I mean, to be fair, I don't think he's gonna be their number 2, because Alisson is still there. So but yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Mamadashvili is poor.
Even with the Wirtz signing, I think it. Like, here's the thing: if you sign someone like a Wirtz, you got to sign a striker, because there's no point in him just creating for the wingers they have. There's no
Yeah.
point in him just creating for their only main goal asset being Salah. Like, for example, when Man City signed Cherki, they've already got Haaland. They've already got
Yes.
a Marmoush who can play as like a second striker or whatever. They've already got players to connect the dots. Liverpool are just, for me, a striker away once they complete the Gyokeres signing to be happy with the squad for now. Even though I don't think their other attacking options are that good. Even though I would, in my opinion, say they need a proper number 6. But at the same time, if they want to go with the whole McAllister, Gravenberch, Wirtz, then cool. It worked last season without Wirtz. Maybe it'll work this season with Wirtz. So we'll see. But I think it will make sense more. If you're going to sign a creator, you've got to sign someone up front. So I've been impressed with them so far, though. And we know in this Premier League, it doesn't take a lot to win it with the quality at this current moment in time. So if you've already got the assets at hand, then it is what it is.
I mean, so here's the thing, right? Because let's be honest, like, a lot of clubs are in the rebuilding stages, right? I mean, you look at City. The City are not. I mean, they're moving in the window very, very seriously, right? Which we all expected. Let's be honest, right? Spurs also need to they need to rebuild. Let's be honest, right? After what we saw last season, I know you guys won the Europa League, but really, you guys, if your league form showed anything, is that you guys definitely need to be active in the transfer window. Chelsea, right? They just got top 4, but you've seen that they've been linked to players. They're trying to bring in new players, and so is Arsenal. They also need to bring in some new players. The fact that Liverpool have won the league and they're not resting on their laurels is actually very, very scary. You understand what I mean, right? That's what for me is the scariest thing, because they still have levels that they can get to. You understand what I mean, right?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
they're just working. They're just improving on what they already have, which is something that they've not done in the past. Charlie, it's looking at what Liverpool are doing, right? After they've just won the league, right? Are you worried like that this is just they're just on a slot, they're just going to continue in the range that they finished off last season with the signings that they brought in this season?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's crazy, to be honest. I mean, with Wirtz, right, obviously a quality player, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him. 150 million, I think it's like the English record or something for a transfer. So there's a lot of pressure on him. I think he can definitely do it, of course. The other signings are Frimpong, Gyokeres, really good fullbacks. Although Frimpong is interesting because he's more of a wing back. So I don't know how he's going to adapt to kind of the 4 at the back, more defensive responsibility. So that'll be an interesting one, but definitely quality player. Yeah, look, they're trying to do what they should be doing, which is kicking on from winning the league, trying to build on it, trying to retain the title. The funny thing is, I actually think City are going to win it next season. I've been saying this for a while. I actually think, not necessarily because, look, they've made some great signings, but I just think that Pep, the way this season happens with Rodri coming back as well, they're going to be angry, man. They're going to be like, we have to get it back. I just have, look, it will be close. I do think it's between City and Liverpool next season, but I think I just have a feeling. I think City will get it back next season, but I think Liverpool will be up there. And look, if they win it again, it wouldn't surprise me. I would be not shocked at all, because look, they're getting better. That's the thing. They're building on an already good title-winning team. Yeah, look, their owners, I know their fans have kind of criticized their owners before and stuff. So I guess that's kind of gone out the window as well. So yeah, look, it's for them, it's an exciting prospect. I mean, for all these other fans, it's not great, of course. Yeah. But look, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. But yeah, like I said, I just got a feeling that I think City might get it back next season. But we'll see. We'll see. But nevertheless, the players they're bringing in, it's top quality.
Yeah, Prime, I do want to get you into this. You've seen, obviously, because you guys also have been trying to be active in the transfer window, right? And the fact that you guys are in top 4, and the idea of long term was try to challenge for the league. Are you worried seeing how Liverpool have been approaching the transfer window, right, and what they've been doing, right? Do you think that they're just opening the gap between like a club like yours, where you guys are right now, with how they're approaching the transfer window?
The gap was already there, to be fair. They're already ahead regardless. The job was on Chelsea to try and close it on Liverpool and City, which we're not doing so far in this window. But yeah, what Liverpool are doing, I mean, a lot of people are surprised, but I'm someone who has been saying consistently that Liverpool actually have good owners. This window proves my point. Liverpool have this thing of not, people criticize them for not spending big money, but when they do spend it, they try and get it on the right sort of players. When they bought in Van Dijk, the right signing to spend big money on. Alisson, record money for a goalkeeper at the time, the right guy to spend big money on. They spent big on Fabinho, the right guy to spend big money on. And that was done under Michael Edwards, their sporting director. When he left and Klopp had the control of transfers and money, he wasted money on the likes of Darwin Núñez. He wasted money on Gravenberch, didn't know how to use him. Slot was now able to get the best out of Gravenberch. And he's not even a defensive midfielder. So I think people have to recognize how well Liverpool spend in windows, and they've been doing that consistently. Yes, sometimes they're not always as proactive at certain times, but over the last few years, they have had the money to spend. They wanted Bellingham, Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, Lavia, but these guys just chose to go to other clubs. Wasn't that Liverpool didn't have the money? They had the money. They put down the money on Caicedo, and then 12 hours later,
he chose Chelsea.
Chelsea put more, and then we got him. They
and
wanted
Lavia as well. Remember Lavia?
So when people say Liverpool, people criticize their owners, well, they're idiots. People who criticize Liverpool owners are idiots because Liverpool.
Do you think there's more of the fact of how much they offer these players? That's because I think that's why.
Because they're willing to break the record for Caicedo, but we just bid like 5 million more to get him, and that was Brighton accepted our transfer fee. When you look at Bellingham, he just wanted to go to Real Madrid. Mbappe, he wanted to go to Real Madrid. It's not a money thing. Liverpool have the money. Look at Wirtz now, right? Bayern, for whatever reason it is, whether it's money or Bayern messing around or him not wanting to go to Bayern Munich, Liverpool got their guy. I'm not going to be someone who's going to criticize the team for spending more because in this day and age, part of your pull is you being able to spend more than the other team.
Yes.
It is what it is. And Liverpool are getting a quality player in Florian Wirtz. Frimpong and Gyokeres are massive upgrades for them in the fullback area.
Okay.
I'm going to be curious to see how Liverpool actually play. I think they might end up switching to a back three because when you look at Gyokeres and Frimpong, if they're going to be holding the width for them, I mean, Salah is going to spend even less time wasting his energy and he's going to be even more dangerous next season. That's probably not the best for the league. I know they're linked to strikers like Ekatike, but I'm going to be curious how Salah and Wirtz work. Do they play in like a front two and they play off each other? Does Wirtz play in a 10? Does Salah eventually end up moving as a striker? I've been saying for a few years, for the last 2 years, that Salah should probably move more centrally now. But I'm going to be interested. Wirtz, it's a lot of money. He's the most expensive import into the Prem. So I'll do the banter thing because is what it is. But in reality, I'm not gonna kill him like most people try to kill Pogba and Enzo and Caicedo and Declan Rice. I'm just gonna be fair and honest with him. I don't think he's necessary. He's a good. Obviously, he can create, but I don't think he's the creative player people think that he is. I don't think he's like a Cherki in the creative sense. However, he is a very good goal scorer. And when you're playing with Salah, who's now dipped into his creative bag the last couple of seasons, if Wirtz is on the end of chances that has been falling to the likes of Darwin Núñez the last 2-3 years now, that's gonna be very dangerous. So Liverpool are gonna be up there. Will they retain the Prem? I don't know. The Prem's only be retained by 3 clubs in its entire history, in the Premier League history. So we'll see how good Slot truly is if he's able to actually do that. But I believe Liverpool will win the major in 25-26 season, whether it's the Prem or Champions League. And what Charlie was saying about City, City are going to be dangerous. It's going to be interesting to see how their players all click. Are they going to click straight away, or is it going to take them a few months to settle in? Because if you give Liverpool a few months head start in the league,
Yeah.
Slot is not like Klopp, where he's bottled numerous title races. Slot is not going to bottle a lead. You've seen it with Arsenal when they tried to put pressure on until they fell off. Slot's not going to let up if he has a 3-month advantage run at this title. So, yeah, man, Liverpool are. It's annoying because I don't like Liverpool fans, but Liverpool are. Yeah, but they're. What did Henri say? I can feel it. They're cooking. They're cooking. So.
They're cooking. They're definitely cooking. But I mean, listen, you do make a lot of good points as well, because I think that for Liverpool fans, it's kind of what they wanted, because they just wanted to see, because I feel like a lot of the fears that a lot of Liverpool fans had was that if they won the league, that the owners wouldn't actually go out and actually deal with some of the things that they need to deal with, because they have a very aging squad. However, the way that they've really approached this transfer window is very scary for like the opposing teams in the league, for sure, and also in Europe. Let's be honest, right?
But also, can I just say, now that because people seem to forget Liverpool do spend the big money. Now that they've done it on Wirtz, and I don't know if it's basically done anyway. There's no excuses now of, oh, well, we don't spend big money, or, no one can beat City, no one can beat Pep. You've spent the big money now. So now, the way Liverpool fans, the way you guys are killing Caicedo and people kill Rice and Enzo, I'm going to join in, but I won't take it too far. A lot of rivals will take it too far. So let's see how you defend.
And now they can speak now, basically.
Let's see how you defend Wirtz having a good game, but because he doesn't get GA, he's going to get criticized. Let's see how you defend Wirtz when Liverpool lose, but he still balls out. Let's see what happens. Is what it is. I'm just saying, be prepared, because Caicedo's first season, he actually had a good season, but he still got criticized. Rice has been at Arsenal 2 years, has not sniffed the trophy, but he still gets criticized. Enzo has been getting criticism he still plays well at Chelsea. Ndombele got criticized at Spurs. He was
exactly. He was like what, 60 million?
It is what it is. So let's see how you guys can truly defend.
Yeah, bro. It's gonna be worse. Right. It's gonna be worse.
We turn bad players and we make them good. No, you've bought Wirtz, who's meant to be one of the best in his position, so he has to prove that he is one of the best. And that's just, you're gonna have to deal with the banter. But in seriousness, I'm very curious because I rate Slot, bro. I rate Slot highly. And
Slot is
interesting. I'm
see, with Wirtz, I actually think Slot will use him as a false 9 for a lot. I think he'll play in the false 9, because they've got like a lot of midfielders like McAllister and stuff who will play more in the 10. I think because you look at last season, he played, was it Diaz there? He played a couple. I think he experimented a bit with that position. I think I think you'll see Wirtz there. So maybe not every game, but you'll see him there a lot, I think.
Do you know what, John? That's interesting as well, because I remember a lot of Liverpool fans saying that Slot prefers more like the energetic type player in a 10 more than the technical player that would just get on the ball and kind of retain it, because he likes Szoboszlai. I've clocked this. He likes Szoboszlai. No matter what I think of the guy, he actually does like those kind of players where they're not necessarily like the best in terms of retaining the ball, but they're gonna create like something mad in the final third and have a lot of energy and do more of the running in that 10 position. So maybe Wirtz will play there partially, but maybe that's why they signed the fullback. So maybe he might play on the left, where he just tucks in a bit, and then he might play Diaz or Gakpo up front. And as you said, maybe false 9 when they just rotate around. Might be a lot more fluid next season, because Gyokeres and Frimpong are just going to hug the touchline realistically. You're not going to see Frimpong and Gyokeres in central areas.
Isn't Diaz linked to a Saudi club?
Yeah, he is. Al Nasser. He's linked to
he's also linked to Barca, but Barca,
let him go to free.
I'm assuming Barca will want a better player than him.
No, so no. So he's actually our primary target, right? Deco really wants him. Yes.
Over Williams.
Yep. Yes.
No, but Williams ain't that good either.
Apparently they're not selling Diaz.
So basically this is the thing, right? They're saying they're open to selling him, but only for 80 million, nothing less than 80. And Barca said we are not going anything over 60. So now it's like, at the end of the day, That's what it
You're going
is.
to lose him on a free.
Because
Ornstein said they're willing to let him go on a free rather than selling him in
yeah,
this window,
bro,
which is
bro,
mad.
I don't understand Liverpool's logic, bro. Liverpool's logic makes no sense. They had the opportunity to sell Trent last season, right? Let his contract run down, and now they want to do. I mean, listen, that's fine. That's all good. It's all fine. But listen, big up to everyone. You Ravi says, you go to Ravi. Ravi's actually a Liverpool fan. He says Liverpool are doing a Fat Joe and Jay-Z. Nothing can stop me. I'm on my way. Oh, he's doing this song. Listen. But listen, let's actually move on to Chelsea. Prime. Now, I'm sorry. I have to do it. I mean, let's just get it out of the way, man. What's going on, man? Like seriously, what's happened this week? Because we thought that the Maignan deal was going to actually happen, right? Like it was the talks were positive. Everything looked like it was going through the right trajectory, and then out of nowhere, the deal just collapsed, right? And you guys have been like, first of all, let's start with that. Let's actually start with that right there, right? The Maignan deal. What happened with that deal? Because it genuinely looked like it was going to happen, right? It looked like, these guys were open to selling, right? I'm sorry, Maignan was wanted to move, right? Because let's be honest, Milan, everything is going crazy over there. And also, we're going to talk about Gittins as well, right? Because apparently, I don't know, Dortmund apparently asking for ridiculous amounts for Gittins. So let's start with Maignan, man. Like, obviously, this is a position that a lot of Chelsea fans have been desperate to kind of get a new goalkeeper, right? What happened, man? Like, seriously, what happened,
man? Yeah. Oh, Charlie.
Yeah, I see. Okay,
yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, Omar, after, because I was at 8, I was there for an hour and a half, so I couldn't, because if we start at 8, I'd be able to.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I have to bounce a bit early because, I just realized the time. So, yeah, look, thanks for having me on. Yeah, next time when we do it at 8, I'll be on for like the whole stream.
Yeah. Listen, man, it's the StreamYard stinker, and apparently StreamYard is working again.
I was about to say, the funny thing is that it's working right now.
Typical like that.
Thanks
yeah, it's
a lot.
annoying.
Thanks
if
a
we
lot,
start
man.
at 8, yeah, I'd be.
Hey, don't worry, man. Next week we'll start early.
Did you already speak on Spurs, or do you quickly want to talk about Spurs?
So yeah, let's. You know what? Let's just get into Spurs and just talk about Frank, and then you can go. Okay?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I can do.
Okay, so quickly, obviously, you guys have a new manager. Ange is gone. I've seen a lot of people are very happy about the move. Not a lot, not everyone. Big up to my guy Jacob. He's not happy. He's been crashing out all over YouTube. Everywhere he goes now, he's just crashing out, man. It's been hilarious. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I've been so entertained by his crash outs. Calling him trash cat Tommy, right? Ozempic Franco, bro. What the hell? This guy
Taylor
is just
Trash Tommy.
Taylor Trash Tommy,
I
bro.
love it. Taylor Trash Tommy. Ozempic Tommy.
Oh man,
dude,
it's mental. Have you seen the
bro.
thumbnails, like the AI generated?
I've seen his thumbnail, bro. I saw the debate he did with Edgar. Oh my days,
Yes.
I was just dying, man. Like,
Oh,
I was
yeah,
on his channel.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, because I was in his channel recently, and look, in a way, I kind of see where he's coming from, because a lot of people think that he's just crashing out just because Ange left. I feel like it's more than that. I think it's because also you guys left, Ange left, right, after winning you guys a trophy. And the fact that you guys brought in a manager in Thomas Frank, who, yes, he's done a great job at Brentford, but with all due respect, this is Brentford. Like, this is a step up from Brentford, right? The idea is, okay, we want to be challenging for Europe. We want to be, we want to be challenging for trophies like we did this season. We won a trophy, right? We want a manager who's going to take us to the next step. And the thing with Frank is, like, that's not what Jacob sees in a guy like Frank. Frank is just a guy who's, maybe he could, maybe he couldn't, but he hasn't really won anything in his career, right? His resume is not really as impressive as someone like Ange before coming to Spurs. So what do you think of like Thomas Frank's arrival, man?
Yeah, look, listen, I mean, first of all, I'm still trying to milk this as much. I've got the shirt behind
Hey,
me.
listen,
I'm
do it.
I'm still milking it.
Oh yeah, of course.
Look, it was the best. Look, it was insane. It was an insane night for me. But look, here's the thing, right? With Ange, I wanted him out the whole season. He won the trophy, and obviously, look, the emotional side of me and a lot of fans were like, look, maybe he deserves to stay. I thought at the time, my kind of thing was, I can understand both sides to the argument of keeping him or getting rid of him. Because if you keep him, look, he's won a trophy. He's ended the trophy drought, which was obviously a big thing for us. But at the same time, look, he did finish 17th, which was our worst season in Premier League history. If we didn't win that Europa League, you know, that would have been the worst season in our 143-year history if he didn't win that trophy. Jeez. It would have been crazy. And look, all the injuries that happened, like losing all these games. Like, this is the thing, right, with Ange. He only adapted his tactics when his job was on the line. When he needed to win, when he knew he needed to win that trophy, he like tried to. He literally went to like Jose ball, like stunk it out against Frankfurt away. Bodo Glimt away. We played similar tactics. So even in the final was a horrible game.
Oh yeah.
But look, yeah. So look, I understand both sides to it. I agree with Ravi's comment. In terms of Thomas Frank, I like Thomas Frank. I think he's a manager that's proven he deserves a chance at a bigger club than Brentford. He's proven, I think, that Brentford are the smallest club in the league. He's almost got them into Europe twice. So he's proven that, look, they can, that he deserves a step up. But I agree with Ravi, though. Look, whoever the manager is this summer, whoever the manager at Spurs is, unless they are given 3 or 4 quality players that walk straight into the team, then nothing's changed. This is what I always say with Spurs, that no matter who the manager is, until the chairman, who is who is poison, and the ownership who's poison, either change, back a manager, or basically go, then I struggle to see kind of how we're not back here in 2 years. Because look, for example, like you mentioned, Jacob, a lot of people's arguments are, it's the cycle, you know, we're hitting the reset button and stuff. Like, I'm not really sure I see it as that. You know, because I think that our squad currently can be built on. Because I think we've got, especially the defense, right? I think defensively, a lot of our players, I think, are very good players. But yeah, like I said, we need a 6, a really good physical kind of monster in the midfield, and we need forwards. We need quality players up front that can kind of take on their man and get numbers, of course. So for me, yeah, we need a few players coming in, no matter who the manager is, but. Like I said, time will tell what happens, whether it was right to get rid of Ange or hire Frank. But like I said, I like Frank. I just kind of feel a bit sorry for him that he's walking into my club, which is, you know, it's known for being a poison chalice and just eating up managers, really. So I kind of feel sorry because he looks like a nice guy and stuff. So I kind of feel a bit bad for him. But like I said, good manager. Tactically, he's flexible. I think the fact that he plays all these systems, I think, suits our squad. So look. Let's see. Let's see what happens. But like I said, even if we had Ange, whatever it is with Thomas Frank, it all depends on what happens in the transfer window. That's what it all comes down to. So yeah, for me, we'll see. We'll see. It's just kind of I'm just going to enjoy the trophy. I don't know when the next one's coming.
Hey, listen.
I don't know what we're going to do.
This is the summer, man. I'll be honest. This whole summer, man, just
look, Omar. I'm not going to let anything get in the way of this because I've waited so long. So I've got. Yeah,
don't let them distract you, man. Like if I were you, you know what I would do? I'll get a Europa League trophy and just put it like.
I was thinking
every time
I'm trying to order
put it right next to me and just like
I'm trying to order one. So
how many trophies have you won? Yeah. Hey, listen, you know what's funny? you know what's funny about this list, right? And lucky Alfie wasn't here, Josh, right? Because listen, imagine being in a panel and being the only one who's never tasted European trophy.
Look, people don't want to hear it. In North London, we're the biggest European club in North London. People don't want to hear it.
Listen, I'm just saying, man. There's everybody in here has won a European. It's crazy, right? Well, imagine we have a Barca fan, West Ham, Tottenham, and a Chelsea fan in here, guys. And every single one.
Bro, going from Barca to West Ham is just funny in itself. And still a European trophy. Like.
This is actually funny. This is why none of the Arsenal guys are here today, man. No. That's why
I wish we had someone here.
Yeah, it would. Yeah. Don't worry, man. They'll be back next week. But big up to my guy Charlie, man. Make sure you guys.
In the time. Actually, sorry, I wait until Charlie goes.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I was like, big up to my guy Charlie. No Filter FC. Make sure you guys go subscribe to his channel, guys. He does a lot of Spurs content, man. Big up to my guy Charlie.
100%. Omar, look, thanks for having me on. Great show. Look, next week if we start if I'm around, I'll be here for much longer. So looking forward to it. Look, it was a great show. Big up to all of you guys here in the chat as well. So yeah, I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, man. But continue.
Take
Prime.
care.
Go ahead, Prime.
Yeah, I mean Chelsea have we won 2 European trophies. Had our club, our owner kicked out the country. Our club sold. We finished 12th. Spent $1 billion, wasted $1 billion, and still won another European trophy before Arteta's won anything. So it's crazy.
Jesus
I,
Christ.
I want to paint something even. I want to paint even a bigger picture than that. You see, when Arsenal, well, obviously in that Champions League final against you guys, Omar. Ever since then, West Ham have been relegated twice, nearly went into bankruptcy. Fans stuck a flag in the middle of the pitch, threw coins at the owners, moved stadium, and won a European trophy before Arsenal. Think about it. You know, there's so many ways to embarrass Arsenal. Like, it can literally be like
Bro,
an
forget
everyday
about all
YouTube
of that,
video.
right? Barcelona. Think about this, right? Mikel Arteta, since he's been about at Arsenal, Barcelona have had financial issues. We've lost our best player. We basically had to sell half of our squad, right? Everyone who was part of the team when Arteta took over. Last trophy he won, the squad that we have, I think 2 players are left in that team now, right? We've won 2 league titles during that time, right? And we have been in the European semifinals. We've won basically every single trophy that is there to win, apart from a European trophy, since Arteta has been in charge, since his last trophy.
And you were fine margins away from a Champions League final.
Nah, see,
Fine.
this is, but yeah, but hey, listen, trust the process. But listen, Prime.
Omar, you don't understand, bro. It takes time. You're not allowed to speak on Barca, Omar, remember? Or Arsenal. You're not allowed to speak on Arsenal, bro. You don't understand, bro. You're privileged.
Hey, apparently I don't. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep
It
my
takes
mouth
time.
shut. Hey, it takes time. I don't understand the process. It's a process. I don't understand that. You're right. Hey, listen, they do have a point. I see. We don't deal with process. We deal with winning. You feel me, right? We deal with build a team and win now. If you don't win in 2
but
seasons,
bro,
you're out of here.
you're privileged, bro. You're privileged.
I'm
You have to
privileged. Hey,
remember.
listen.
You have to remember, Arsenal are a big club, but they don't have the privilege that you have, Omar. You have to remember.
Oh yeah, exactly, bro. How dare you try to be ambitious? This is why whenever people go and league on the north side, just see them like, oh yeah, you guys are attacking these guys. Why? Because they're ambitious. Because they want their clubs to move like a big club.
And that's why Igal was having a go at Jacob, because Jacob's a Spurs fan and he actually has ambitions.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's the truth. That's what people don't understand about Jacob. People think Jacob is the manager. He's just support. He just loves the manager. That's why he's no. This guy has seen his club win a trophy for over 17 years, bruh. That is a trophy that I don't ever want to imagine. Like, imagine, like, nobody, like, some of us don't even know
was
that.
Gonna say nobody here.
Hey, don't worry about it, bro. You forget.
No. But West Ham have won championship, right? That counts.
Yeah. Listen, you've at least won the championship.
You've not won championship.
You've never won the
we
championship.
always get promoted via the playoffs.
Oh shit. Hey, but listen,
trophy.
But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. You won a trophy 2 years ago. So you for 2 years, you've enjoyed the idea of what it's like to see your club win something. My guy, Jacob, hasn't felt that feeling for years. And now for the first time in years, like, did you see how he was crying in his stream when they won the Europa League? Like, that is tears of joy. People think, oh, people were laughing, bro. That is tears of, like, you don't understand, bro. If you've been
I've
waiting
seen in football the last few years of like, especially, well, we could talk about English clubs or even clubs outside of England in the top 5 leagues, taking these European trophies or lesser competitions seriously is what I love to see. If Chelsea can't win everything all the time, then at least let clubs that are not going to ever taste a league title or a Champions League enjoy a Europa, enjoy a Conference League, enjoy an FA Cup or a Copa del Rey or a Copa Italia. Enjoy it. Bologna winning, seeing, to be fair, Bilbao are they're big
they've
club.
won Copa del they've won,
but they haven't won in a long time either. Seeing West Ham win 2 years ago, Palace won this season, Newcastle won this season. It's great to see. It's really great to see for football.
Dude, see, that's the thing, isn't it? People see, this is why for me, I never understand a guy like some of these Arsenal fans, like an Egal, the way they think, right? Like, winning a trophy is everything in football. I don't understand why people like to range for, like, what's the point of the Carabao Cup if you're not there to win it? What's the point? Like, well, why do we have it there? Why is the FA Cup there then? Right? We might as well like you can tell in these people's minds, right? For them, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, those trophies don't mean anything. I'm sorry.
Because they would rather compete for the big ones, but it's like yes, obviously, again, fine. We're big clubs, like for example, Chelsea being in the Conference League and rivals laughing. It's all well and good, but if I win it, you can't laugh at me because even though I shouldn't be here, I'm doing what I'm expected to do, which is win. That's why Man United, not just finishing 17th, but losing the Europa to Spurs, it's so embarrassing because you're expected to win Europa regardless of your circumstances. Just like I'm expected to win the Conference League regardless of my club's circumstances. I don't have a striker. I don't have a goalkeeper. I just about have centre backs in Kowa, and he's only performed the last couple of months. Maresca's a championship manager. My club's in disarray because we waste the money left, right, and centre. And yet, I still did what was expected. It's the bare minimum. Conference League is a bare minimum. Fine. But I'm in it, and I won it. Arsenal, that laugh at Europa, you were in it for 3 seasons. You got battered in the final by Chelsea, a Chelsea team that Arsenal were saying that they'd batter. You got battered by Atletico Madrid, who, barring Griezmann, weren't even that strong that year. And you got knocked out to the likes of Amorim Sporting Lisbon before we knew who Amorim was. Like, that's the sort of levels you guys were dealing with in Europa League. You got knocked out by Olympiacos because Arteta was stupid enough to take out Aubameyang and bring on Willian. Like, that's the sort of thing that you guys were doing in the Europa League. West Ham got to a Europa League, was it quarterfinal, semi-final?
Semi-final,
yeah. Semi-finals, Europa League, yeah.
Was that your first season?
The year after
that was our first season. That was our first season. We lost to Glasgow's Frankfurt. We lost to the winners.
West Ham walked to a semi-final, but Arsenal can't win the Europa League.
We beat Sevilla. That was like Europa League, like
royalty. They're Europa League royalty. They literally won the most Europa Leagues.
It was the first English team to beat them in God knows how in like decades or some shit, like in the Europa League. Like the odds were against us, and we still beat them. Then again, to be fair, they did have Lopetegui, but that's not the point. That's not the
bro. Lopetegui won them the Europa League in 2020, so it's not even.
Then again, and we did what Conte couldn't.
Exactly.
See,
but at least Conte wins league titles. So fine, Conte's European record is disgusting, but at least he will guarantee you a league title. Arteta doesn't guarantee you anything except like I can't even say an FA Cup. That's 5 years. So he guarantees you second.
That is the thing, isn't it?
I guess.
See, this is the thing. I said this is why I always said for me, Arteta is a spicy Pochettino. I'm sorry, but he is. Like he is. If he didn't win that FA Cup in 2020, you would have seen no difference between the two. Do you understand what I mean, right? Because this is what Poch used to do. When Poch had that team to win them a trophy, which he did, the team that they had should have won something. But the reason they didn't win anything is because they were not taking all the competition seriously. Pochettino was choosing the competitions he wanted to take seriously. He was taking the league seriously. He was taking Europe seriously. But he didn't take the Carabao Cup seriously. He didn't take the FA Cup seriously until the season before he got sacked, right? Where they went to the semi-finals and lost to United, right? That was like the only time they had opportunities. If they had won a Carabao Cup during that run, you could look back and say, hey, listen, Spurs don't usually win trophies. So to even win a Carabao Cup with that team is impressive because you actually did something. You brought something home in the end. The issue with some of these people that don't understand is this also. And this is something as Prime, you know, because you've seen Chelsea win trophy year upon year under this guy, Abramovich. When people always talk about the story, the road, bro, F the road. Nobody cares about the journey, bro.
Yeah, no one cares, man.
Oh my, I say this all the time.
That's what I'm saying.
Like Chelsea semi-final second leg 2012, a man down at the new camp, 2-0 down, 2-1 in aggregate because we won in the first leg.
Yes.
No one cares if we don't beat Barca and then get to the final and win in the final. No one cares, bro. No one cares.
Nope.
The only reason why we care is because we actually won at the end of the day. The only reason why people care about West Ham's Conference League one is because they won the Conference League.
Yep, exactly.
Let me ask you this question. Does anybody in here remember where West Ham finished that season? Because I don't.
Even I don't. I'm a West Ham fan.
Bro, everybody has forgotten where you finished. You guys might have even been fighting relegation. I said, I don't remember.
We was.
Do you understand what I mean, right?
Like West Ham the year before in Europa, Mike's just said that he beat Sevilla, Europa League heritage, but we don't care because you didn't win it. So
yeah, exactly. We beat Sevilla, Lyon, and we beat Sevilla and Lyon to get to Frankfurt. But
bro, you lost to Frankfurt. Who beat? Remember, because if we beat Frankfurt, we would have played you. We would have played you in the semifinals.
Yeah. And We could have played Barcelona, or we could have
Yeah,
played Rangers. Bro. Like,
that's the thing. We because we were on the same side, right? So we were in the
Yeah, yeah.
quarterfinals. We were playing against Frankfurt, and you guys were playing
Yep.
against, I think, Sevilla or something. So you
Yep.
guys knocked Sevilla out, and we got knocked
Yeah, we
out
beat
by
Leon.
Frankfurt.
Yeah.
And then Frankfurt went on to win the Europa League.
Yep.
You understand what I mean? So here's the thing, bro. The story that, like, you talk about it, Mike. I'm sorry, Prime. That year you knocked out Barca. You beat Bayern Munich in their stadium. You beat Benfica. You beat Napoli in your run to get to the Champions League. Has anyone forgotten that same season was the Villas-Boas season? It was the season when you guys finished 5th. You guys didn't even finish top 4 that season. Winning the Champions League took you back in the Champions League this season after. You understand what I mean? In 2013, under Benitez, you won the Europa League. Everyone forgot that year you guys got knocked out in the
Champions League third.
group stages.
That's the thing.
You know why?
When you win,
won.
History, people don't like history is written by the victors. Like when you win, like Spurs just won the Europa League, right? But this is what the season will actually be remembered for. Exactly. No one's gonna really talk. I mean, we might speak about they finished 17th.
Arsenal fans will,
because it's part of it. It's funny.
Arsenal fans will talk about it.
But Spurs fans in 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, when they tell their children, they're gonna talk about the legendary Europa League run. They're going to talk about, and you won a trophy at Spurs. Jose is a serial winner, couldn't do that. Conte, who's a winner, couldn't do that. The legendary father, Pochettino, couldn't do that. And this fat Australian. So it's like, and also, winning, when you win, you can twist. But this is what Arsenal fans want to do.
Prime, one thing you're also missing out is also this. They've won a European trophy. In 10 years from now, if Arsenal haven't won any European trophy, guess what? In 10 years' time, Spurs fans can still sit there and say, we've won a Europa League. Where's your European title?
Exactly.
Where is it?
They can say that now, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Dude, this Europa League is by winning the champion. You can't, Arsenal can't win a Europa League in 2 seasons and say, well, you can't match it. No, go win Champions League to match it.
Yeah, that's the only way you can match it.
Exactly.
Like and that's the
West Ham have a do you know how when, like, if you're an Arsenal fan, you know how embarrassing that is. West Ham have a Conference League. 2 years later, Spurs have a Europa League. Chelsea have just completed the European set, and Palace
all we need now is Palace to win the Europa League next season, and then basically fucked.
Bro, so Villa are in Europa next year. There's no reason why Emery won't win that, because that's just what he does.
Emery and Glasner, by the way, in Europa. Either of them could win that. Palace could win Europa League next season.
Glasner has only been here for what, 2 seasons, I think, or a season. He's already matched this brother's trophy resume with Crystal Palace.
Their first ever trophy, ever.
And that's
it's not even like recently. It's their first ever trophy. It's their first ever trophy, like ever. Like what the hell?
And that's the thing. It's like, because Arsenal fans will praise the good thing Arteta does, because I actually think Arteta is actually a good coach. He's a very good coach. But like when you're at Arsenal, when you're at a big club and the pressure's on, suddenly these little intangibles we don't care about, because you have to, especially when you've been there that long, 5 years. You don't care about your intangibles of, oh, well, he's a very young manager. You have to remember the context of how he developed the squad. All of those things you can say at Spurs and they'll accept that. Or a West Ham or a Brentford or a Brighton. Those clubs will accept that. It's fine. But when you're at Chelsea, like, we don't care, Maresca, that you were in the championship a year ago. When it's crunch time, make sure you deliver top 4 and make sure you win that Conference League. We don't care. We don't care how it looks. You have to deliver at the end of the day. And then we can assess things. But with Arteta, it's like he has so many people who continue to back him and defend him that it's like he can get away with continuous failure. But I'm not saying he has to win a Premier Champions League, because I think for a young manager, you're asking for a lot. I don't think that's fair. But it's fair for me to say go win a Carabao when Newcastle weren't good the first half of the season. They've won the Carabao. Palace weren't good for the first half of the season. They have an FA Cup. West Ham have a Conference League from 2 years ago. Spurs are 17th. Could have got relegated if the relegation clubs were better. And they have a Europa. Man United got to the Europa League final and they're also bad. So what's your excuse to win a trophy? You don't have an excuse.
The thing is, this is why their brains need to be donated to science. Because
Oh
think
my
about
god.
this in terms of like generally in a season, yeah. Every time you see like them in a league title race, and it's been Man City and Liverpool that have won it, they've tried how like you guys have heard the downplaying of the league. Like every time like they win the league or a different team other than them wins the league, it's like nobody cares that they won the league. Who's painting the narrative? It's Arsenal fans. People are going to be like, well, everyone was happy that Palace fans, that Palace were celebrating the FA Cup. And then when people poking fun at Arsenal fans try and painting a different narrative. Same when Newcastle winning the Carabao Cup. Now, this is the first time I've heard, and I don't like Tottenham at all, by the way, but this is the first time I've heard, the Europa League isn't like a mad trophy in God knows how long. Because Tottenham won it. Because the narrative has been painted by Arsenal fans. They spent more time painting out other people's honours as not that good, rather than putting pressure on their own club to actually win something. Like they spent more time downplaying other people's honours because they paint the narrative. They're so active online that they control all of this. They control all of this, and this is what they've done. So no one's going to pay attention to their antics for the next few seasons anymore. Like no one has forgotten that they just lost to PSG after beating Real Madrid, which is the most Arsenal thing you can do.
And you know what's funny about losing to PSG? Did you guys see how they were reacting to it? Like, wow, look at how they just did what they just did to look at what they just did to Inter Milan, and we actually managed to actually play against them. First of all, let me just remind you something. They beat you home and away. Okay? Aston Villa actually managed to show more fight in those two ties because they actually won the second leg, right? More than you did. So please do not sit here and talk to us about doing a better. No, Inter Milan completely folded. But apart from Inter Milan, you guys are the second team to fold against them, right? And here's the thing: you guys
who beat Arsenal in the group stage? Who beat Arsenal in the first stage of the Champions League, not the group? Inter Milan.
Inter Milan with their second string.
Exactly.
Inter, by the way. They're chatting. Exactly. But look, this is the last thing I'm going to say before we move on. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, if we all know this. When it comes to football, these guys can talk about the journey. Guys like Egal, they'll be talking about the journey of Arteta when he gets sacked and talk about, but he took us from here and here and here. Bro, in 10 years' time, nobody is going to remember. Everyone's going to be like, oh yeah, did he win a league title? Did he win a Champions League? How many did he win the FA Cup? Yeah, he won the FA Cup with Emery's team. Oh, okay. Did he win a Carabao Cup? So what exactly did he win during your best years? Nothing, but he challenged for the league. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, cool. No problem. But listen, let's move on. Prime, we were actually just talking about the Maignan deal. So what exactly? Man. No, but on a real, right? Seriously, right? I know you've been trying to run away from it, but listen, let's just get into it, man. Because I know, you're absolutely fuming. Right? I know all the Chelsea fans are absolutely fuming because you've just lost a huge target because you guys needed a new keeper. I think that is one thing that is like every Chelsea fan would agree with. Like Robert Sanchez, let's be real, right? He's like you guys were basically begging for a new goalkeeper, and I'm not gonna lie. When I heard this collapse, I didn't know what happened. So that's why I'm actually asking you, Prime. So what exactly happened? Why did the deal just collapse out of nowhere?
No one wants their Stegen, bro.
Sorry,
where do I begin? We ended the season we end the season of reports saying that we're not going to be in for a goalkeeper, and Sanchez, Petrovic, and Jorgensen are going to be assessed and I guess spotted out at this Club World Cup thing, and Penders will be sent out on loan. And cool, Petrovic has had a brilliant season at Liga, or in Liga for Strasbourg. He won Strasbourg Player of the Year over the likes of Santos, who's been balling in that league.
Yep.
He's been one of the best goalkeepers in that league, if not the best. And when I look at other goalkeepers in the market we were linked at, likes of Diego Costa, who I watch, whenever I watch him, he just seems to make bozo errors. I know he's still a young goalkeeper. I don't even think he's meaty. There's talent there, but it's like he's not ready. And I look at Chevrolet, I've not watched enough of him, so I don't truly
Chevanier,
know.
Chevanier, yeah.
I don't truly know, and I don't want to take another risk on just young players. So for me, it was like I'm cool with Petrovic for a year, and then we can assess the market because football's always evolving and changing. So let's see how things are in a year. But when you get this market opportunity, because we love to do these market opportunities, Felix was a market opportunity, Neto was a market opportunity. When you get a market opportunity of a goalkeeper Maignan who is world class or at least top class,
Top
we can
class,
probably
yes.
all agree is at least that at a minimum.
Yeah. He's a good
Someone
keeper.
who would
Very good
come
keeper.
into this league and automatically be maybe the second or third best goalkeeper in this league, just based off of his track record and his history.
Track record.
Someone who is experienced, won a league title, plays internationally, number one for his country. Someone who will command and lead our defense. Someone who's not just gonna, be a hologram and goal like middle name. Then, cool. You bring him, market opportunity. 25 mil is nothing. It's not like he's 60. It's not like he's 60 mil like Gittins and Garnacho, where you have to haggle it down. 25 mil, listen, bro, I'll pay that. You can sell an academy kid and make up the money, bro. Sell an academy kid, we make up that money. It's cool. Like Sancho was 25 mil to bring in. We didn't do that. We had to pay £5 in compensation. You know what makes up for that £5 million compensation? Selling Kepa to Arsenal. Thank you, Arsenal. Thank you, Arteta. I love you, bro. So again, to make up for 25 mil for Maignan, honestly, bro, we could sell an academy kid or sell another hotel or whatever, and we make up that money. It's cool. It's not 25 mil is not that much. It's really not that much. Sell Shrewsbury Hall to West Ham and we have 30 mil there. Doesn't matter.
Shrewsbury Hall to West Ham.
Yeah, you're gonna get Shrewsbury Hall, bro. Relax. But that's the thing. Like, that's 25 mil is not something to like haggle down. But cool. If some people want to say that because AT are looking to sell him and whatever, cool, maybe try and haggle it. We were trying to do like 12, 13, 18 mil, whatever. And I think the difference now is like 20 mil or something. Or not 20 mil, like 5 mil. I think we don't want to go above like 20 and they want 25 or something.
Wait a minute, bro. This is
I don't know, because I'm seeing a lot of different stuff, but I think roughly that's what it is. Or like we want 18 mil to pay and they want 25. They're not budging on 25.
So wait, so you're telling me this whole thing right now in between
it's just
you guys,
just negotiating.
the negotiation is over 25 to 30 mil for Maignan, who's one of the best.
No, they want 25 mil, but we don't want to go above like I think 20.
But that is stupid because Maignan is one of the few rare gems in football right now as far as goalkeepers. This is stupid.
I agree. But again, you say it's stupid, but last year we had a free run at one of the best goal scorers in Europe. He wanted to come to Chelsea. He was twerking for our legend at the last AFCON in Drogba. And we fumbled the bag on that too. So it's not crazy that we're doing this with Maignan. He wants to come to Chelsea, by the way. He wants to come to Chelsea. That side, the personal terms are done in terms of him. It's just the price that we're haggling with. But it's cool because we can spend 60 million on Bino Gittins, who's not proven. We can spend 60 million on Garnacho last January, who's like, dog water. Big up DJ Sav. And it's like, it's frustrating because you're willing to splash the big money on these kids. But we're going to haggle over a proven experience in Maignan, who takes us from top 4 challenging to if we had Maignan last season instead of middle name, I'm not saying we win the league, but like we could have kept the pace a lot longer and then maybe fall off in February, March, fine, but we could have at least kept the pace instead of, if we had Osimhen, we could have kept the pace, because how we started last season and how we ended last season, it's that middle part that we messed up at, where we needed, yes, fine, we can say in certain games, Maresca could have got things better tactically and turned losses into draws and draws into wins. But if we just had a better goalkeeper, if we just had a proven goal scorer fixing our spine, we could have gotten away in certain games. Because I look at Liverpool, as great as they've been this season, Salah bails them out in games. Van Dijk bails them out in games. Alisson bails them out in games. Because that's what your top players are supposed to do. Your manager is not always going to get it right. You look at Flick. He doesn't always get it right at Barca. It
Yeah,
happens.
yeah,
But
yeah.
Yamal will bail him out with a goal, or Lewa, or Rafinha, or whatever. And then you win the game, and then it is what it is. Yeah, you criticize Flick, but you still move on. And then the next game, Flick will get it right, and then you'll win. And then it is what it is. But that's what we're so. But Chelsea fans, all they want to do is just blame Maresca. No one wants. I've been talking about our board 4 years, the lack of squad planning 4 years. All throughout the season, Mike and Omar, you've seen me talk about the squad planning and the board. But Chelsea fans want to argue with me about Maresca and how he's not good. If Maresca is not good and he's not better than Poch, then why can't we not look at the sporting directors that brought in Maresca, who is not good? Why can we not look at our sporting directors that we've gone 2 years without a striker? Jackson's been our only striker at the club for 2 seasons, and he's not even a striker people will want to argue about. We ended January, deadline day. 2 of our strikers got injured. Was it against West Ham, I think? Jackson and the youngster Gu got injured against you guys.
Yeah.
And we ended that January with no one. Kolo Muani was available. I don't rate him, but he was available. He's a striker. You have Kvaratskhelia was a market opportunity of a forward to bring in. We didn't try and go for that. Rashford was available. I would have taken him. But again, like we didn't push for anybody. But we wanted Garnacho for 60 mil. I think really we weren't stupid enough to still go over the line and pay for that. But apparently we're still linked to Garnacho this summer. I don't believe the Garnacho links are truly real because we're looking for a winger, so it's easy to throw our name to be thrown back in by these journalists that don't know anything. But who knows what we're gonna like end up doing? I still have hope that we can get Osimhen because a lot of these big clubs, they already have their striker. They don't need to spend on Osimhen. Gyokeres is available, but I still have a feeling he could end up going to like Barca or maybe one of the other Italian clubs.
We'll actually talk about Gyokeres next, so by the way.
Yeah, we can. But it's annoying because we're not that far away. This league is like Arsenal are apparently this is, you know, world class, amazing Arsenal. We should have PSG, but yet we are only a few points away from them. We have the third best defense in the league with a hologram in goal and Cole at center back. Like we are not that far.
Let me tell you this, Prime. Okay, here's the honest. This is what for me as just a guy watching from the outside. This is what really confuses me about how you guys are approaching the transfer window. It makes no sense at all because you have an opportunity, right? You guys have a good team. You guys did well to finish top 4 with the limited, like with the players you guys have right now, right? You have players. What this squad needs is a lot of experienced players, right? Players who are proven, not just in the league, but also in world football. Maignan is a proven goalkeeper. This guy has been doing it now for a while at AC Milan, has proved himself to be one of the best goalkeepers in the world while being there. And Milan are not even that good. You understand what I mean, right? That shows you how good he's been, right? And you guys are dilly-dallying with a goalkeeper of his level, a guy that could walk in many teams right now, who would be invaluable for many teams right now, right? You guys need a striker. You got Osimhen available. You've got Gyokeres available, right? These are all players who are proven goal scorers, which is something that you guys don't have. Guys like Jackson, they're hot and cold, right? It makes no sense to me how you guys are insisting on spending money on players like Gittins, who are all potential. Gittins is a potential player, right? You got players like Garnacho, who, let's be real, I don't think that guy has the potential to do anything for the amount of money that they're asking for. Right? But you guys are willing to, with this club of yours, right? They are so obsessed with buying players for the future, putting all their money in these players for the future, rather than actually buying players who can actually help you challenge for trophies, which will just bring more attraction to the team. Like, it makes no sense. It's so, like, bro, it's so backwards when you really think about it. It really is. Because you guys are dilly-dallying for the amount of for a goalkeeper of this stature and not actually going out to actually buy a striker. This is stupid.
You know what it is? Like,
go ahead.
What I don't get is like, and Prime complains a lot about Chelsea fans, and I see why now. Because like, when I've looked over the past like season, I never really know what the problem was with Chelsea and why they've missed the final step. And I heard a lot about sporting directors, and I was like, let me look into this just from an outside point of view. And I was like, that's fair enough. I can see why they're complaining. But before this Maignan thing, apart from the people that I talk to on a regular basis, like a Prem, like a Lewis or whatever, people like the Chelsea fans only complain about the sporting directors when it's convenient. It's like when they're linked to someone decent, it's like, oh my God, look what kind of transfer window we're having. And then when they do something like this again, like they did last year with Osimhen, they complain about the sporting directors again, which is literally they're the only reason why I don't think you're going back in for Osimhen, because I feel like if you had any form of sanity upstairs, Osimhen would have been a Chelsea player for a year now, and you guys would have been in a mini title challenge last year, and you would have got, and we wouldn't be talking about Sancho or Neto like they're shit players, because you would have had a striker to play off, and we know Sancho and Neto are better with strikers up front historically of how they've done at previous clubs. So that's the only reason why I don't think you'll go back in for someone like him, or like even a Gyokeres, even though cool, I haven't really watched him since he's gone to Sporting, mainly at commentary and stuff. But like with Maignan, I said this on Lewis's channel, like if Chelsea were ones to just bully AC Milan in negotiations instead of how they were playing off now, instead of just going for the deadline and be like, this is the money we're paying now, and they kept it going on throughout the transfer window, and be like, this is the money we're paying now. You've got him on 1 year left. You better accept this, or you're losing him on a free. Then I would have understood it if we were in August and they were still doing this. But the fact that they did this whole deadline with the Club World Cup, I've never seen. I know this is the first time we've had this transfer window because of the Club World Cup, but I've never seen a club move like this, where it's like, my deadline ends in fucking June. It is June. The transfer window has started, but it hasn't really started. Like, even if we forget the Club World Cup transfer deadline thing for 1 second, let's say the transfer window was to carry on. The window doesn't really start like that until the end of June. Like, it does start, everyone does sign players, but I'm talking where everyone starts getting constantly active. There's no one that should be doing some form of deadline in June. There is so many days and weeks and months to play in the transfer window. And especially when it comes to that caliber of player, it seems like the sporting directors are so far out of their depth due to the platforms that they are so used to before, like the Monacos, like the Brightons before, because I'm assuming that one of them worked for Monaco and Brighton for a while. I don't know which one is which. They're like Dumb and Dumber, innit? So you got Joe Shields, who just signed Man City youth players. Like, I was going to make a mad joke, but I'm on Omar's channel, so I'll allow you, Omar, innit? But like that's the thing with like you, man. Yeah, I know. Like, I don't think there's a problem with you lot signing former City academy players necessarily, but it does feel like it's too much of a coincidence, and you're just signing in-house players. Like, that's the problem with the whole structure at Chelsea with the higher ups. I don't actually think you guys have terrible owners in terms of businessmen, but they do not know how to hire the right footballing people.
Nope.
No, they don't know how to hire the right footballing people. And the thing is, it kind of says more of a job about how a good job Maresca was doing last season, with the fact that he did this and he did everything that everyone expected him to do. Won a trophy. If he didn't win a trophy, I would be like, cool, I completely understand the criticism.
Sorry, Mike, not expected them to do. Chelsea fans didn't expect them to do this, by the way. They're
No, but
saying
you know
you'd
what I
be
mean.
mid-table and not win conference, so I'm just correcting you there, but continue.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
cooking. Sorry, you're cooking.
Sane people expected this of Maresca. If you had watched him in the Championship, you would have expected this of Maresca. He literally had the exact same form of Leicester and Chelsea when you look into it. He was battering the league, nearly bottled the league, and then battered the league again. So that's what Maresca does. And they didn't sign anyone in January either, because Leicester are stupid upstairs as well. So he's used to working with boardrooms like this. So the fact that they're letting down this manager again, I rate Chelsea fans for being like, well, the same Chelsea fans are like, well, at least I want a title challenge next season. You better keep that. Because I'm glad you're keeping that to that standard, because there's a couple heads that probably need to be chopped off after the transfer window, or due to the fact that you're probably not going to get that because of the certain caliber of target you need to take you over the line to win something like this, or to put you in a constant challenge like this. It's spooky. It's spooky. We've seen it with Osimhen. We've seen it with Maignan. And as much as you are interested in Garnacho, I don't believe it either that you'll actually go back in for him, because Bino Gitten seems to be the main target. Never really watched the guy. I've only watched a couple cameos, but he seems to be the kind of caliber of player that Chelsea are used to getting over the line.
Bro, that's the thing, man. When I swear, I think there was someone who actually around the end of the season was telling me, he's like, Omar, don't be surprised if they start getting linked to Gittins. I said, why? Why would they be linked to Gittins? They said, bro, it's the profile, man. Young player, right? Like, has potential, is English. Don't worry, man. It's like
Former
Madueke,
Man
man.
City.
I'm just like, bro, I was like, nah. But when I heard I was like, oh my God, they actually went in for Gittins, My guy was actually right, Oh, wow. But this club is so funny, man. But look, I do want to actually move on because
Wait, sorry. Can I just say with Chelsea,
yeah.
everything Mike said is spot on, and you're a rival fan. But when I've been saying all of this all season, I get killed by my fan base.
But that's natural, bro. Everybody does it. Like people do it to me as well.
No, but it's like Chelsea. Like, you remember the protest?
No, because you know why?
fans?
No, you know why? It's because
The-
you know why? You know why? You know why that is, Prime? It's because you're a Chelsea fan. You got to believe in the squad. Why are you so
but
negative?
It's not even that, because my fan base doesn't believe in the squad. They don't believe in Maresca because the players don't give them anything to buy into. But yeah, who's someone who's supposed to be the negative guy. I'm not proper Chelsea, whatever. I don't believe in the academy. I don't trust Cobham. I'm someone who's actually been positive about our young players, positive about the Cobham players that got their chance this season. I'm someone who's actually said, guys, Maresca's actually a good manager. But this fan base won't back Maresca and the young players now. But back in 2019, when we hired that fat bastard. Oh, sorry, Omar's son. When we hired Lampard, Chelsea fans wanted to tell me that, we should back him. He can win us the Champions League. I'll get relegated with this guy. I don't care. But when it's Maresca and we're fourth, people want to tell me he's not good enough. All right, man, it's cool. But everything Mike has just said, I've been saying throughout the season, and people want to argue with me and fight me. And then people want to get gassed when we're in December and buy into what Rival said about us being in a title race. And then in February, when people want to protest in February, but they don't want to protest in deadline day when we haven't signed a striker and our two strikers got injured. People want to crash on Palmer, but when Palmer still creates chances when he has bad games, he's created the most chances in this league. I'm not the Enzo's biggest fan, but he's up there with the most chances created in this league. We have the third best defense in this league. So clearly the problem tells me that if we just have a better spine, we have a top goalkeeper, you get me a top striker. If we just have that, then that surely is enough to push us forward into competing. Do I think Maresca is good enough to win us the Prem and Champions League? Probably not. I'll be so honest, probably not. I don't think he is. But I don't need him to do that. I just need him to get me back to where I should be, which is challenging. And once we've done that, then we can assess things and get rid of him and bring in someone else. But these sporting directors are the biggest problem, because at least our owners are willing to spend. They're spending the money. But we've got two bozos of sporting directors. Campos was, I mean, whether he was available or not, because he just signed a new contract with PSG, but there was a moment there where he could have been available and we didn't press for it. Michael Edwards was there, we didn't press for it, he went back to Liverpool. There are reports coming out these past few days that clubs are laughing at our sporting directors in negotiations. They're laughing at them.
Jesus Christ.
They're laughing. That's why AC Milan, who need the money, if people watch the Serie A and know the Serie A,
they need the money.
They know it's the Serie A in general need money. AC Milan need money. They're not in Champions League. They're not in any European competition. They need money. And they're trying to, they're not fleecing us for Maignan, but like, they're not buckling down. You know why? Because they actually have they have proper negotiators and a sporting director and a structure. Dortmund are one of the most difficult clubs to negotiate with because they will fleece you for young talent. And we're trying to bully them for Gittins just to fall down to their demands for Gittins. We're falling down to the demands of Eintracht Frankfurt for what's his name? Ekitike. Omar Marmoush was available in January to get. Man City got him.
Yeah.
Man City have got Reinders from AC Milan, and to be honest, I think he's worth more than 60 mil. And Man City have been able to do it. Man City got their job done, their players done quickly for this Club World Cup. Real Madrid, they paid money just to get Trent in for this Club World Cup.
Early.
But we're haggling around. I'm not saying we could win it, but I'm Chelsea. If I'm in these tournaments, I want to show something. Yeah. I want to show something. I want to show that, fine, we're building towards something properly, and we can be taken seriously. But now, like the confidence and the like the hype and the belief that I had when the season just ended, and after seeing how these fans and or not the fans, the players and Maresca was celebrating getting into the Champions League and winning the Conference League, winning a trophy, having that feel. It's not gonna. What does that now mean if we can't make the progression with bringing in a proper spine? If we don't have leaders, proper leaders who've actually delivered and crossed the line for majors before, like what does it matter? But people, it doesn't matter to me. People just want to blame Maresca. We'll get rid of Maresca. You'll bring in someone who is, probably worse, because if people are telling me Maresca's worse than Poch, then the next guy they bring in then has to be worse than Maresca, because that I'm just going by the trends, right? So
you know what's funny right now? Barcelona's former sporting director Almani, who was the one who brought in Lewandowski, Rafinha, Koundé, all these guys, he's available. He's actually available. And remember Villa? Remember Emery wanted him at Villa before he got Munchie, right?
Yep.
We want what?
Would you take Paul Mitchell?
Newcastle. Yes.
Yeah, he's not available anymore. I mean, I'm sorry, like he's not at Newcastle anymore. So
he brought in the likes of Tonali, who I wanted for years. 2021, we won the Champions League. That summer, I wanted us to bring in Tonali for midfield to improve our midfield. He brought in Isaac, who was doing okay in La Liga, but he was still growing and developing.
He was developing every year. He was developing before he left.
But
every season,
it's cool. Anthony Gordon,
he scored like 19 goals. I think his last
I wanted Anthony Gordon the summer we were linked with him. Chelsea fans were telling me, "Oh, he's not worth 60 million." January, he goes to Newcastle. He's one of the best left wingers in this league. Yes, I don't care, Mike's. I'd bring you in over the two balls. I don't care.
I would actually do better though. That's the thing.
Yes, you would, bro. You would.
But yeah, Omar, I gotta go. I gotta go, bro.
Yeah.
I got another stream, so I gotta
all right, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, man. Take care, man. Anyway, Prime, let's actually just end with this, right? Let's actually talk about something that will actually make you smile a little bit. Let's talk about Arsenal, okay? Arsenal's transfers. Now.
Oh, Kepa, let's go.
Yeah, listen, man. Let's actually get into that, man. Another one of your dead weights, man. You just this time 5 million. How did you feel? Like, I was actually on Twitter. I was like, bro, I don't know what Arteta's obsession is with bringing in this dead weights from Chelsea. Like Chelsea out here, right, buying Arsenal's best players, and every single year these guys are challenging with Chelsea's dead weight, like the players that Chelsea I don't even care about anymore. Like, what is this? What's going on? Like, what did you think? Like, let me ask you this, right? You've got Havertz, Jorginho, right? David Luiz in the past, Raheem Sterling on a loan. They've just brought in Kepa. Like, bro, why do you guys just love selling your deadwood to these guys? Unreal.
Arteta's been at Arsenal 5 years or 5 seasons, whatever. And every window he's brought in every summer window, I think he's brought in a Chelsea player.
Yep, bro. Let's be honest, right? Your rebuilding process has been so much better in your improvement, right? Like for the players you've gotten rid of, strictly because of Arsenal. Arsenal have actually helped you guys get rid of so many, like most of the players that you guys were saying we need to get rid of these guys so that we can go take a step forward. Bro, they have actually. You don't realize the process that you guys have been going through to rebuilding your club, bro. Arsenal have been massive in your rebuilding.
I know. Like when Chelsea fans, the start of last summer, were saying that, oh, how are we? Actually, not even that. Towards the back end of like last season when we had Poch, Chelsea fans were crying about Sterling, and I said, don't worry, Arsenal will get him on deadline day.
I think you did. I
kept when you saying that. Like I'm not one why people are crying about Sterling. He's going to go. And lo and behold, Arsenal got him on deadline day. And not funny, it wasn't even deadline day because a few days before, there were reports that Sterling was at London Coney, because Arsenal's training ground. The deal was done a few days before and it got reported on deadline day. Bro, Arsenal were so easy to read. Mike's and I we do a weekly show on his channel every Wednesday.
Yeah,
like 2 months ago, we were talking about, what transfers are Arsenal going to make this summer? And I said they need a goalkeeper, definitely. They're gonna get Kepa. They need like a left winger striker. They need another forward. They're going to be linked with Gyokeres, which we're seeing. They're going to be linked with Sesko, which we're seeing, and they could end up signing like a Rashford or an Nkunku. Like this is what
Jesus.
Arsenal do.
And they're linked to
So
Nkunku, bro.
yes, this is what, and it's so easy. This is what Arsenal do. This is just what they do. So Kepa, thank you. I see a gal saying that you know that gif of a guy throwing money at someone. Yeah. Gal's he posted that gif and said, "Hey Chelsea, take your 5 mil. The same 5 mil you're giving us, we're giving to Man United to pay the conversation on Sancho. So it's nothing out of our bank account; it's out of yours. So thank you,
bro. At this point, I think Arsenal should just hire a guy as their social media. Bro, this guy, the amount of times he hypes up Arsenal signings, bro.
I'm seeing people see that Chelsea have the waste of money that Kepa costs and everything, and not making our money back. Well, fine, Kepa did cost a lot of money, but we won a Europa under him or with him when he was here, a Champions League, the Super Cup final he played, and in the shootout we won a Club World Cup. We got money when he was out on loan at Real Madrid. They won the Champions League. We also got money on that for the loan deal. He was at Bournemouth last year. They did well in the league. Like, it is what it is. And he can go to Arsenal. He has a year left on his contract, and you're signing him for 5 mil. Thank you. And you know what? Arsenal fans telling me it's a good signing as a backup. It is, because to be fair, I think Kepa actually is a good goalkeeper.
Yeah, he is.
But I'll say this: he is going to be Arsenal's number 1.
What is Raya gonna get injured?
Raya's gonna get dropped. I see Raya makes bozo mistakes that people don't really want to talk about.
So what, you think Kepa
is the sort of guy that will end up dropping Raya, or maybe Raya gets an injury or something, and Kepa will end up being the number 1. Trust me.
Hey, we'll see. Hey, listen, you've made a lot of accurate predictions when it comes to Arsenal, man. Let's see how this one works. But let's actually talk quickly about Sesko, right? Big up to DJ Safi. Says the Sesko deal has a roadblock. Seems Arsenal cannot agree a price for him. As of now, the latest on the deal is that Arsenal have given the deadline until the 15th of June to Leipzig to get the deal done. Now, listen, Prime. I don't understand. Like, you know what the thing with this club is? It's so easy for neutral fans or rival fans to just laugh at at Arsenal, because this is the season you've seen how injuries have hit you this season, right? You guys clearly need a new striker. You've needed a striker, goal scoring striker, like a 20 goal a season striker for seasons now. Seasons, not just last season, not this season before, no, for seasons, right? You got Sesko, who's available right now, right? He's available, right? And now you guys are trying to go. I'm sorry. I meant to say Gyokeres. You got Gyokeres available, right? Gyokeres, right? Who's one of the best strikers. Let's be honest, right now in Europe, right? He's been for the last 2 seasons. But you guys are insisting on a Sesko, who even Bundesliga fans will tell you is not even that good of a striker, right? And apparently, from what I'm hearing, is that apparently Bertha, he wants Gyokeres. Now, if you know anything about Bertha Prime, from being a guy who watches La Liga, this guy is being sporting director of Atletico Madrid. This brother was the guy who brought in Griezmann. He's the guy who brought in Costa. He's the guy that brought in guys like Falcao. He's the guy that brought in players like even Suarez from Barcelona. He brought in Villa from our club and made them win the league with him. He brought in Mandzukic, right? He brought in, what's his name? Even guys like Kevin Gamero, right? I don't know if you know who these guys are, right? All of the strikers, even Alexander Solot, Julian Alvarez, Berta was the guy who brought all of these strikers at Atletico de Madrid, right? His specialty is finding good strikers. And he told Arsenal to go in for Gyokeres. And Arteta said he wants Sesko. He prefers Sesko. That's why they're going in for Sesko. Like, bro, I feel like at this point, this man is genuinely trying to sabotage this club so badly that whoever the next manager comes in, right, they will have to rebuild this team from whatever mess this guy leaves. Because that's what I think at this point. Like, what do you think about this whole situation with Sesko and Gyokeres, man? Exactly.
So, Bert, I don't like. Obviously, again, you watch La Liga, so you probably know more than I do. How I don't think Bert is the sort of guy that Arsenal fans actually think that he is.
No, I don't
Like,
think he's. I wouldn't necessarily put him in the same place as Campos and all these people. However, he's a good eye. He has a good eye for talent. To be fair, right?
no, I know that's not what I'm saying.
Hmm.
Arsenal fans are saying that like he would want a Gyokeres, but when
No, but
I look at the strikers that he's
got.
brought to Atletico Madrid, a lot of them have been, the majority of them have been young, talented, up and coming strikers. Yes, fine, you get the David Villa and the Suarez, but they were
He brought
those
Falcao from Porto. Let me remind you.
yeah, I
Remember?
know, no, I
Porto.
know, but he was young and up and coming. Is my point.
Yep.
Yeah,
And so is
I know that.
Gyokeres. And so is Gyokeres.
Gyokeres is not young; he's like 26.
No, but okay, but no. But here's the thing, bro. He's hitting his prime years now, right now.
I know, but he's young. He doesn't fit the. Gyokeres is not
I mean,
young.
look, Antoine
Doesn't
Griezmann
fit
joined
the-
Atletico Madrid, I think, when he was 24.
Yeah,
Like,
but 24 is still young.
No, I
relatively.
know what you mean, right?
It's-
But I would
Omar,
I would say
let
this.
me.
Radamel Falcao joined in 2011, I think. He joined them in 2011. He was 26 when he joined. That's
I
what
know,
people
but
don't realize.
I know. Let me make my point though.
Go ahead.
Atletico Madrid they sign these young strikers and develop them into. Obviously, they have the talent and stuff, fine, but they develop them into something. Whereas the only exclusions of them signing like big names or whatever was what Suarez and Villa, and they were well past it when they went to Atletico Madrid. Griezmann they brought back from Barca, right? But he was a flop at Barca, essentially. Right. So that's the only real exceptions. I know you can talk about Falcao and his age and stuff like that, but like Falcao was back in 2011. How long ago was that? It was a long time ago.
Yeah, that's a long time
so
ago, yes.
I'm talking about I'm talking about like the very recent history and like even if we say 10 years.
But I think that is what Arsenal needs, to be honest.
I know. However, if we're talking about young, up and coming striker, Sesko actually fits that. Now, I agree Sesko's not actually good, by the way. I don't think he's good. Yeah. But in terms of the profile being young, talented, up and coming striker, that's how the PR at Arsenal will sell it of this is what Berta wants. This is what Berta tends to do, sign these young, talented, up-and-coming strikers. Now, the reason why Arteta wants Sesko is because Sesko is a guy that can, people say he's a striker, but the guy's a forward. The guy can play out on the flank like an inside forward and come in, which is what Arteta would want, which is what, because when I look at the forwards he's brought in, Jesus, a false nine, Havertz, who actually was brought in as a left-sided 8, but now he's playing as a false 9. So when I look at that's why I keep saying Arsenal should go sign Rashford, because if you're going to play Sesko and get Sesko and play him off the left, Rashford
at this point they might as well.
So that's why I say it. When I look at the way they've been linked to Nico Williams, a guy who plays off the left and comes in. So but yeah, with Arsenal, with Berta. Like people are thinking, I've seen Arsenal fans say, "Oh, but Berta's going to come in, and if he's going to give Arteta what he wants in Sesko, and when it fails, it means he can sack him." But Arteta is the one that said last year that I'm going to be involved in the hiring process of a new director of football.
This is
so. If Berta comes in, you know what's going to happen? If they get Gyokeres, and Gyokeres doesn't bang, and Arsenal say finish 3rd or 4th, and they regress, it's going to be flipped that Arteta didn't want Gyokeres. He wanted Sesko. Look at Sesko. He just scored 18 goals this season and Gyokeres has flopped. Get rid of Berta. Or they're going to bring in Sesko. Sesko will end up playing off the left. And then the whole thing will be Arsenal still need a striker. Arteta's plan was always to play Sesko off the left. Oh, why did Berta fail Arteta and not backing him? Wherever way it happens, Berta still ends up being the bad guy.
Yeah, he's still
because look at Chelsea. Remember we brought in Vivell, and he ended up leaving a few months later. Remember United brought in Ashworth, this amazing guy, and he ended up leaving. I think the same thing is going to happen with Berta. He's going to end up leaving or getting sacked by this year or maybe even the end of the season because it's going to be deemed because again, this is the PR Arsenal. They're trying, guys. They brought in this top sporting director, but he's failed Arteta. So we're gonna get rid of this. Is what I can see what's happening because the Arsenal PR machine is so predictable. But people like Igal and them man fall for it. So it is what it is.
No, that's fine. Hey, listen, for us is just content, right? We just sit there and just laugh at the carnage that is happening over there at Arsenal. But I really do feel bad for like the real Arsenal fans, like the North Side, who I'm actually cool with, right? I'm just like, because you talk to these guys and you see how much this shit just hurts them. Like these guys always have to live in pain, and they know that things are not going to change because whereas they will be vocal, there will always be people in this club that will support anything that this club just throws at them. Anything. They just doesn't matter what it is.
And the worst thing about it, because I get it with my fan base, the worst thing, it's not even about your club doing moving fraudulent. That's not the worst thing. The worst thing is the fan base not realizing what's going on.
Yep.
And they want to put blame on other things. They won't wake up. Everyone wants to protect Arteta like he's this amazing guy, but like people don't realize that Arteta, like to get to this point, Arteta has done a good job at Arsenal. But like if he continues to stay and they regress, like what happened with Poch at Spurs, all we're going to remember is he lost the Champions League final. All we remember about Poch is he lost the Champions League final in 30 seconds and then he got sacked the following season. That's all we remember with Poch. Us guys who are not Spurs fans.
Yep.
Because that's all it is really. You didn't win anything and you were there for how long? Arteta, all we're going to remember is, fine, you won a trophy in your first 6 months, well done. But you spent almost $1 billion. You spent 105 million on Declan Rice with 1 year left on his contract. You went on your knees and you begged for Kai Havertz. You didn't buy a striker in all this time you've been at Arsenal, and you have nothing to show for it, barring an FA Cup, Carabao Cup semi-final where you got battered home and away against Newcastle, and a Champions League semi-final against PSG where you got battered by PSG. That's all we remember now. When even though you've actually done a good job up until a certain point, but you've
that's the thing, isn't it? Prime. See, we are old enough to remember how good that Spurs team was on the pitch. When they hit their peak, they were one of the scariest teams in Europe. Let's be real, right? They were. Not a lot of teams wanted to play them around the time in the league, right? Because they were battering everyone. Like I remember even when you guys were winning the league, when you guys went on that 13-game winning streak, right? And you guys broke the record for the most wins, like around that time, right? Before Liverpool completely shattered it, right? In 2017 under Conte. Who was the one who ended the streak? It was Spurs.
We lost to Spurs, and then Conte for the rest of the season played defensive just to see how
that is the point. See, this is the issue that's exactly what I'm trying to say, right? That's how good our Spurs team was, right?
And that was a Spurs team, by the way, with no money, no investment.
And that is the thing. If that team had won any trophy, that team would have been goated by many people's eyes. Maybe people would have said, "Oh, that team should have won more. They won a Carabao Cup, or they won an FA Cup."
Alderweireld and Vertonghen is the best centre-back partnership I've seen in the Prem not win the title. They're the best part. They're 100%. Better than Saliba and Gabriel. The way people talk about Saliba is the way people spoke about Alderweireld.
Bro, look at that back four. They had Kyle Walker, Vertonghen, Alderweireld, and Danny Rose, and Lloris behind them.
That midfield. Dembele midfield
with Eriksen and Ali.
Top, Eriksen, Son. That was the team.
They had Dembele, Eriksen, and Ali as a midfield. This is prime Dele Ali. This is like Dele Ali when he was on smoke, right? Mm-hmm. They had Son who was firing. They had Kane who was firing, right? Even players like, what's his name? Lucas Moura, when they came into the team, they were also firing. Lamela, when he was in the team, he was also firing. They had a great team at the time. But guess what? No one now remembers that team because that team didn't win anything. Anything. If they had won one thing in that era, maybe we said that team should have won more, but they at least won an FA Cup. That team was goated. But no one is going to remember that team. And that's what Arteta
and what he did. Like, it's why people look at Spurs as like being this big club because of what Poch did.
Exactly.
They earned the respect in Europe. Because I remember when they played Juve in the quarterfinal of the Champions League and they battered them first half. And in the second half, Allegri brought on 2 wing backs and he just changed the game. The only thing stopping that Spurs side, besides the money, was if they had an experienced manager, if they had Jose at that time, they would have won something, bro. Because they were so close.
They were so close. And I remember they beat Madrid around that same time, that same year when they played Juventus, they beat Madrid. You
Mhm.
understand what I mean, right? We played them. I remember. I mean, we didn't lose to them, but dude, it was a tough game. They drew in our
They took
home
you
stadium
close.
1-1, right? They were cooking around that time, and just like you mentioned, they had opportunities. And the funny thing about Arsenal is, people are going to say, "But Arsenal, Arteta has won a trophy, bro." Do you want to know what the funny thing about that trophy he won is? The reason why everyone always talks about that being Emery's team is because this is Arteta's team. This team that he has here is his team.
Mhm.
This is the team he's built, and this is the team that's been challenging for the league. If this team wins no trophies, people can sit there and say, but he won an FA Cup. But every one of us will remember that that was not his team.
It's not
He
even
got
that.
rid of that
It's
team.
like for example, Flick.
Hmm.
No one's gonna say, "Well, Flick won it with Xavi's squad." You know why? Because that like no one uses that. That's not never been an excuse in football. But because
Nope.
Arsenal fans, when Arteta was finishing eighth and eighth, were trying to use the excuse of, well, he has a poor squad. It's Emery's squad. He needs his own squad. Well, now rivals can flip the excuse and say, well, the FA Cup doesn't count because he won it with Emery's squad. When in reality, we all know the FA Cup counts. Just like we all know why Arsenal were eighth twice and were doing poorly. It's Arteta wasn't doing enough. We can all be
Yep.
honest about that. But because Arsenal fans wanted to lie back then and say it's not his fault, he needs his own squad, well, then I can now say the FA Cup doesn't count. I can use your excuse against you.
Facts.
That's why when Arsenal fans don't like the narrative of, or Arteta lovers don't like the narrative of, oh well, the FA Cup has to count. Yes, it does. Just like Arsenal being eighth and eighth and being bottom of the league when Spurs were top, that's on Arteta as well. Then, if we're going to be fair,
Bro, these guys that don't care about being objective. That's one thing I've learned, man. But it is what it is. We'll see what happens. Will they sign Sesko? Will they sign Gyokeres? We will see what happens. But Prime, this is the last thing I'm gonna say before we go. Obviously, you just seen the City have just signed Cherki. They've just signed Cherki. They've signed Reiners. Like,
Ryan Cherki.
bro, what do you think about this Cherki move? Because on paper, right, what a move, right? This is one of the best young up and coming players in world football right now. But I said this before, and people were like, "Oh, but Omar, you're being harsh on Arteta and all this stuff." Look, I'll tell you this: as a guy who saw him manage my club and had his best, so the best years of my life as a Barca fan under him, right? One thing I'll tell you about Pep is this: Pep, Pep doesn't do well with ballers. He doesn't do well with footballers. Footballers that basically need freedom. If you want to see the best out of them, you got to give them a level of freedom to do what they need to do on the pitch, right? Pep doesn't give that. Pep is such a tactic, like his brain, like this guy is such a tactical like manager. He controls everything that a player does on the pitch. You understand what I mean, right? Where you need to move, when you should
Yeah,
pass, when you should shoot, and a player like Cherki, from what I've seen from him, he's a guy who does better when he's given the freedom to do what he wants in the attack. You saw it against France, bro. Like, bro, he was just everywhere. He was in the attacking midfield, he was out in the right, he was out in the left. And dude, the guy came in and changed the game. He almost brought France back into the game all on his own. And I'm worried that at Liverpool at this club, I don't know, man. I feel like he's gonna do something like that. Listen, I hope not. I hope not, and I hope I'm wrong. But I've seen players like Grealish, like Götze, right, who were all players who had the potential of a Cherki, like especially Götze. Like, I don't know, like Prime. You remember how good Götze was at Dortmund before he went to Bayern, right? This guy, every club in the world wanted him, right? But under Pep, Pep didn't know how to play him. Like Pep wasn't playing like an attacking midfielder during his time at Bayern, so he would experiment him as a center forward. Sometimes he'll play him out wide. He tried to play him in the center midfield, and he wasn't working. In the end, he ended up flopping over there, right? And I think with Cherki, he's a very similar player to a Götze. You understand what I mean? So I'm just hoping that that's like he can be able to manage him. Like, what do you think?
I I disagree. I think Cherky's better than what Götze was back then. I think people. I understand when people say Pep ruins bowlers, but like he also gets more out of bowlers than anyone else as well. Gets more out of forwards than anyone else. Look at Raheem Sterling and the way people viewed Sterling before he joined Chelsea as this amazing Hazard-esque type of player, when in reality
No,
he
he's not.
thrived off of but that's what I was telling people when he was joining Chelsea. But people
Yeah.
said he's a Hazard-esque leader. He's not.
No, he's
But
not. He's not.
but I don't. When people say he kills ballers, I don't think so. Like Grealish, he was never as good as what people made him out to be. But because he played at Villa and he got the freedom to dribble, where in reality, at a bigger club, you're not going to be given that freedom because there's going to be players there who are better than you. KDB was the one guy at City that deserved the freedom.
Like even people try to use that on Messi with me. People are like, but Omar, he let Messi. I'm like, bro, Messi is the anomaly.
Yeah,
he
but
could never do
only
that to
one
Messi.
guy can be given that. When you look at Bernardo Silva,
Right.
he's a great, tidy footballer, but he doesn't get that. He even look at for Portugal, he's never been given freedom because he's not that good to have it. He's not the creative maverick in the team. Foden, people say give him the keys. No, he's not that good. He's not good enough to deserve that. He should be in the system as a fulcrum in it. When you look at Götze at Bayern, yeah, but like a lot of it, there was also injuries for him as well. So that's why it also part of why it didn't work. I think Cherki, the only argument I'll hear about killing ballers is probably Mahrez, because as amazing as Mahrez was,
Mahrez was fine.
as amazing as Mahrez was, like he probably could have been a better player. But again, the way Pep wants to play, it's about the team and the system, but whatever. But when I look at Cherki, City, with KDB now gone, City need the guy. City need the main creator. City need the maverick, the guy who's going to be given freedom somewhat in the system. That deserves to be Cherki, not Foden, not Bernardo Silva, not Grealish. If you give that to Cherki, City will be fine. Because when you look at City, Marmoush is a goal scorer, Haaland's a goal scorer. You have Foden. If you have a Cherki playing in Doku in behind on the run, you have Cherki linking up Savio. This is what they need. So Pep, we can say what we want about Pep, and part of stuff I agree, to be fair, but Pep's not stupid enough to not give Cherki the freedom, because the season Foden's just had, he's shown that he doesn't deserve that freedom. Bernardo Silva, he's getting old and past it now, where even if he was in his even if you wanted to give him the freedom, he's not in his prime anymore. So I think Cherki, he's going to be given the keys to go ball out. And also Grealish, people say give Grealish the keys. Grealish has never deserved it either at City. He's not earned it.
I don't think. Yeah, I mean, look.
I think Cherki will be fine. I'm going to be so interested to see how City.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I hope, bro. I hope that I'm wrong. I'm not sitting here saying that I'm going to be right. Right. At the end of the day, you are right. He usually does give freedom to certain players who are natural ballers. He did give a level of freedom to De Bruyne. That's why De Bruyne cooked. I hope he can give, because now that De Bruyne is gone, like there's not a player in that midfield right now that he can give it to. I think Cherki is the perfect guy to give it to, because I think if he can, he's gonna cook, man. If he does, and that would be scary. If they can have a thriving Cherki in the team with Reiners, they just signed, who I think is actually a very good player as well, right? I'm not gonna lie, like just like Charlie said, be very careful, because City could be back next season for sure. Because bro, Pep is Pep. Pep is Pep, bro. You can never count Pep out. You understand what I mean?
Like, I look at Cherki. He has, when you look at it, like his build, the way he plays, he gives me Hazard vibes about him, and I just look at it like, yeah, people can say his size, but listen, if you're an actual baller, you're a baller. Like, I looked at Hazard, how he came to the Prem, and how he had to ride through certain challenges the first 2 seasons until he really kicked on in 14-15, and we won the league, and he was our best player. Cherki will be, listen, bro. Cherki will be fine. He'll
listen, man. Here's us playing, man.
And Savio next year, like Savio, people can say what they want about Savio, but he's actually quality.
He's a good bro. He's a quality player.
Doku will kick on to, like, I know Doku's not necessarily the best, but again, in a system, it can work. I'm not saying he doesn't have to be the best player, by the way, but in the system,
just do a job.
Yeah, that's all you need. And they brought in Ryan Nori, which is interesting. So are City going to go back to playing with flying fullbacks again? I hope so, because now we can go back to, because this inverted fullback stuff annoys me, bro. It's so annoying. Because but
it is.
And what's also annoying is Chelsea won't be in the conversation for the big trophies. But again, who knows? So
hey, listen. The summer transfer window will be coming. So who knows? Maybe you guys might actually wake up after the Club World Cup, depending on how you guys doing there.
Yeah.
If you guys go in and don't do well, guess what? The fans will be definitely pissed off. Especially let's say
my hope is because the Conference League. You remember that touch Jackson had when he should have been 1v1, and the next day we signed the lap. I obviously, I mean, I say I don't want this to happen. All I'm gonna say is, if
imagine if
a howler.
Let's say in the round of 16, exactly. Yeah. Imagine in the knockout stages, right? You guys lose again 1-0 and it's a Sanchez mistake. Hey, listen,
if Chelsea get like low key battered, Sanchez is at fault for all the goals. For us to sign Maignan the next day, cool. Say sometimes in order to win, you have to lose. You have to sacrifice.
You gotta take 2 steps. Listen, it's the old saying, bro. You gotta take a step backwards. You take 2 steps forward.
You know what? Let Jackson play another game again and let him have a howler. Then we sign Osimhen the next. Yes, I'll listen. Cool. If that's the sacrifice play, let it be the sacrifice play. Yes. Thank you.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, let Madueke make another bad pass. And
let's be real, right? You guys are not. Let's be. If you're just gonna be completely objective, you guys are not really in the favorites to win the.
No. I know we're not winning it, but like my point is, this whole project thing has been built up towards that Club World Cup. So if a few embarrassing things happen and it means we can sign quality players the next day or two, cool. It's what it is. I play chess, not checkers, bro. I'll sacrifice, bro. I don't mind.
Hey, listen, man. Hey, listen. You know what it is, bro. You've seen your club win trophies, man. So you know what it takes to win it. Sometimes some people they don't know that feeling, man. They just think, oh, if you believe enough, it will happen. That's what they think. If you believe enough, but
he needs another 250 mil to spend $1 billion, bro.
Exactly. It is what it is. But yeah, listen, big up to every single one of you guys. We've been on for 2 hours, man. We actually did True Ballers FC today. I couldn't believe it with the way the stream was going. But hey, listen, man. Appreciate every single one of you guys who has been here. Big up to my guy Prime. Big up to my guy Mike's. Big up to my guy Charlie. Every one of these guys who's been here today. Big up to every single one of you guys who are watching. This stream will be redirecting you guys to Zero Talk. He's doing the heavyweight show. I was gonna be part of it, but dude, I'm already late and I have to start a show in 30 minutes. But yeah, big up to you guys. Make sure you guys go to Zero Talk. Put Omar BYT Raid in the comment section below. And make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and peace, you guys. Take care.